All right, everybody, and welcome to Between the Lines Friday Night Football between the visiting Brentwood Eagles and the St. Pius X Lancers. This is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. I am Chris Miller, and with me, probably as always, is Zac McVey. Zac, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing well. We are ready for some Friday night football, aren't we?
I would say so. I think it's we had a good time doing the Jamboree last week. It kind of got everything a little, everybody a little excited about it, and I think now we're going to have a great night of football.
Exactly. I mean, this is exactly what you want to have happen. And on the way over, of course, we've got the Voice of Fall playing on the radio, so we're ready to get this show rolling.
Oh yeah, I mean it's it's that first week, so I mean we'll probably have some glitches, or I just had one on the screen, but it's gone now. But I think we should be good, and I think it's going to be a fun time for the kids. What do we know right now about both teams, Zach?
So, giving you a little pregame preview here between Brentwood and St. Pius X. Districts came out this morning, and it just so happened to be that both of these teams are going to be represented in Class 1 District 2, just like they were last year. So we're going to see a pair of Class 1 schools duking it out, and right off the gate with Week 1, you have district seeding and district playoff implications.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of matchups that are going on around the state.
Exactly.
We talked about it with Jim Powers the other day, yesterday actually, on the Move with the Caravan football preview. There's a lot of schools that are playing either really good competition or teams that they really thought were going to be in their district, so that way it's of a more competitive matchups.
Right, and that's what you want to see if you're a fan. That's what you want to be a part of if you're a player and a coach. Just really, really solid Week 1 matchups. And we talked a little bit about it on our show, the Coach's Box, that you've got around the county, around the viewing area, up in the city, down south. There's some matchups. But let me tell you a little bit about tonight's game. Brentwood, last year's schedule, they were 6-5. And I tell you what, a little bit about Brentwood, they've had a pretty dominant past from 2013 all the way through 2017. They've had 5 seasons in a row of 10-plus wins. Now, they were 4-0 during the COVID year. They played in the springtime and elected to do that route. They went 4-0. Last year, they're coming off a 6-5 record. But what also is interesting is that Brentwood has a new coach at the helm by the name of Tywan Brooks. And so I think what you're going to see tonight is something maybe different than last year, because last year you talk about some players, they had some guys that put up some really quality numbers, and that was led by John Clay. He had 24 touchdowns on the season. Then you had Simeon Cooper. He had 8. Nick Phillips had 5, along with all 3 of them had several 2-point conversions. They didn't really kick that much last year. But varsity, I mean, pretty much everybody on their roster returns in terms of skill position. Their quarterback last year, and they had 2, Ethan Ritter. He completed 22 passes for 241 yards and 3 touchdowns. You had Trenton Mitchell. He completed 11 attempts for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Your leading rushers, and I think this is what you're going to see today, and their primetime player is going to be John Clay. He had over 1,100 yards rushing last year and 23 rushing touchdowns. Then you have Simeon Cooper. He had over 760 yards and about 8 rushing touchdowns. And then a couple other running backs as well. You return your returning receivers, top 3, Nick Phillips, John Clay, and Harris, along with their top 4 tacklers. So Brentwood, even though their roster is only about 18 to 20 kids deep, they return a bevy of varsity returners, and I think you're going to see some high-powered offense. You know, we had a chance to watch a little bit of their Jamboree film, and they looked like they were throwing the ball around there, and maybe an air raid type offense. So you'll see kind of what happens going from a team last year that only averaged less than 7 pass attempts per game to now maybe trying to stretch it out, spread it out. We'll see what they do with all of the athletes that they're going to have and a new coaching staff. But on the St. Pius X side, the home squad here at Festus, Missouri at Father Dalton Stadium, you've got a lot of returners also. I mean, you look at, yes, they lost their quarterback in Colin Smith last year, but the younger brother, James Smith, he's going to take over at the QB position. You lose your top rusher, but you also return about the top 2, top 3, or I should say number 2, number 3 rushers with Dabrian Moss and Austin McGuckin. You've got your receivers coming back, Dabrian Moss, Eli Frimmel, Matt Mariani, Drew Merciel. And then on defense, you've got about 5 or 6 out of your top 7 to 8 defensive stalwarts coming back. Austin McGuckin, one of the leading area tacklers, had about 167 total tackles last year. Dabrian Moss had 80 total tackles. And then you get down into the quarterback, James Smith. I'm curious to see how he plays on defense tonight, going both ways at quarterback and middle linebacker. You really don't see that too much, Chris, in high school football unless you're these small schools or you're a special athlete.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing too, especially being week one. It's still kind of summertime, and we'll see stoppages in play for drink breaks, I believe. And it is going to be curious to see. I mean, it's one thing to play in a jamboree, but it's another thing to be playing in a game, and especially for the two-way athletes, like you said.
Exactly. And Brentwood, like we talked about, having less than 20. And some of the other players that I think that you're going to see is number 2, Trent Mitchell. He's a skill player. He's a junior. We already talked about number 4, John Clay, the running back linebacker. He's a senior. Nick Phillips, number 5. He's a skill player and secondary. Ethan Ritter, he's a QB outside linebacker. Number 21, Simeon Cooper. He is a senior, and we got to see him a little bit while they're warming up. He is a big body, and he is listed basically all over the field for Brentwood. So he looks to be maybe one of their primetime players for Coach Brooks and the Eagles. And then a guy that I was looking forward to seeing this evening was one of their tackling leaders, and that was Adrian Sabah. We're going to say that's how his name, a junior. I mean, we just said he's out, he's not in pads, and we looked at him on the sideline. And we're like, boy, that's a football body. So we'll see maybe if his absence, what that's going to do for Brentwood and Coach Brooks, but. Seeing both teams warming up the last 5, 10, 15 minutes, I think it's going to be a good game.
I really do too, Zach. I'm looking forward to it. Well, we're gonna kind of take a quick break here and make sure we get everything kind of lined up, and that way you guys can have a good broadcast. You are watching Between the Lines Friday Night Football. We will be right back. All right, everybody, and welcome back to Between the Lines Friday Night Football here, presented by Off the Rails Media. You know, we said it's that first week. It's
technical issues.
Oh yeah, it's just part of it, and we know that, and hopefully you guys understand that. But I think we're going to be good to go. Everything checks out now. So right now we got at the St. Pius X Lancer cheerleaders are waiting for the Lancers to come storming out.
Yeah, so we've got about 5 minutes before game time, and Brentwood is just now entering the field. Maybe we can kind of see some of those guys here at the bottom of the computer screen, and still don't see St. Pius. We're waiting on them. I don't think we've had the prayer or the national anthem, so at some point we'll probably wind up having to take another break, so that way, we don't interrupt both the prayer and the national anthem. So,
well, real quick, we have a little preview. Talked to Coach Oliver for a little bit, of the St. Pius Lancers head coach, and he kind of gave us a little snippet of some of his thoughts for the upcoming season.
Yeah, I think this year with we got like 17 seniors. I think we'll be pretty salty and pretty good depth in several positions. So we think we'll be pretty good. How good we are, will be determined. But we should make a run for a conference title again, and then hopefully with our districts coming out today, I think hopefully at the end maybe us and Duchesne should be probably the favorites.
Well, that was head coach Dan Oliver with his thoughts on the season, and Zach, I don't want to sound like a homer, but I kind of agree with him. I think it's gonna possibly, if all teams play to their potential that we've seen and we know from, especially with this team coming back, I think it's going to come down to the Lancers and the Pioneers. I believe that's what the Duchesne Pioneers.
Well, either way you slice it, I think they're going to be in a pretty competitive district. Right off the bat here, we said that this game, week one, already has district seating implications. And talking with Coach Oliver, talking with Coach Watson, and some of the other staff on St. Pius today, their goal is definitely to try and rack up the wins, try and get the points needed. As we'll go through, we'll talk a little bit about their schedules. Both teams play some Class 3, some Class 4 schools, so they're trying to get home games. You get into Week 10, Week 11, you're doing your best to try and get some home games here.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. You're definitely trying to extend your season and play in front of your home crowd. And there's no travel. It's you want to be as familiar as you can.
The routine's the same,
and
yes.
the district being the way it is, you have teams like Deshaun, but you also have Van Fars in the district. And
Louisiana.
I think Louisiana, and those schools are a little further up there. So
they're going to be a drive.
And then last year, the Lancers had to travel all the way to Mark Twain to play them in the district semifinals and lost to a very tough Mark Twain team. But would that have been any different if Mark Twain had to come down here? So
exactly.
That's what you want to try to do, like you said, is play to get those home games, play to play in front of your fans as you're extending your season.
Exactly. And what you kind of see with the district seedings is the fact that there's a lot of travel. There's a lot of travel between schools, between Crystal City all the way up to Van Far, all the way up to Louisiana. There's going to be some mileage there racking up on these buses.
Oh, yeah. And I know all about driving them buses, man.
So there's about a little under 2 minutes to go. The week one for everybody, so they still haven't gone through the coin toss. It looks like they're getting ready to start the national anthem. So, Chris, I don't know if you want to take us to break real quick. And
we'll go ahead and go to break. And when we come back, I believe we're going to be pretty close to game time. So you are watching Between the Lines football on Off the Rails Media. We'll be right back.
I'm the latest hashtag challenge, and everyone on social media is trying me. I'm trending so hard that hashtag common sense can't keep up.
This is gonna get tens and tens of views. But if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, you could be left to pay for this yourself.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Case and Bucks and Barnhart welcomes back the 2-pound pork steak special every Thursday. Kids eat free every Tuesday, and all-you-can-eat soup and salad every day, all day, only at Case and Bucks and Barnhart, home of over 55 appetizers. Learn more at caseandbucksbarnhart.com.
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Hi, I'm Brant Tarkenton, Hall of Fame quarterback and founder of Tarkenton Financial. And this is my good friend and partner, Brian Waits, founder of Waits Financial Services.
Thanks, Fran. At Waits Financial Services, we believe in educating our clients, providing courteous service, and helping every person we work with create a winning game plan for their retirement.
Retirement is a lot like football. You need a solid game plan and great teammates in order to achieve success. That's why I started Tarkenton Financial, to help educate people about their choices and connect them with advisors I trust. And Brian is one of my trusted partners.
I'm here to help you meet your financial goals, minimize your tax burden, and ensure that you have income guaranteed for life. Let's get to work on your retirement game plan.
Call Brian Waits at Waits Financial Services today. You'll be glad you did.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to Between the Lines Friday Night Football, brought to you by Off the Rails Media. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our sponsors who allow us to be able to bring you the action tonight. And Zach, I think we're about ready to get going here. We got the captain's meeting out of midfield. And we got a full house in here, so if
There's going to be some extracurriculars up here in the press box here.
we're not responsible for anything that's said, or up here.
We
in the
are
press
live,
box.
so we'd like to remind everybody that's in the booth, and there's a camera in here, so
we can throw it up here real quick. We got a full house here. We got the legend, the man himself, Mr. Lawrence Crodinger from SMCI. Say hi to the people right there, Lawrence. There you go. They do a great job of making sure that we stay cool, and they can definitely help you. So if you need your home air conditioner serviced, you can call Home by SMCI today. I'm trying to remember it. Here, Lawrence, what number is that?
636-337-4444.
There you go. You got to give him a call.
Hey, and it's hot here tonight. It's week 1 of high school football.
That's exactly right.
And you might need some service by Home SMCI.
That's right.
So, captains for tonight, for Brentwood, we'll start off with the visitors. That is number 4, John Clay. We also have number 62, that's Louis McGee, and number 65, J.D. Allen, and number 5, Nick Phillips. For the Lancers, captains are number 4, Matt Mariani, number 5, Dabrian Moss. We have number 56, Alex Moises, and number 79, Carter Bone. So we have the toss, and with the toss, Brentwood has won the toss and has elected to receive. So as we are going, Brentwood is going to go left to right on your computer screen, TV screen, whether you're watching on Facebook tonight, YouTube, or any of the other mediums that we have at the Coach's Box and Off the Rails Media. We want to say thank you. And you will be able to watch this broadcast at any point in time this evening and going forward for free. All you have to do is go to our YouTube channel, go to our Facebook page, and you can watch it right there.
That's right. You can watch it right there.
So
go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, so the Lancers are getting ready to kick. Kicking for the Lancers looks like number 1, Austin McGuckin. And Brentwood is going to take the field, and it looks like we have number 8, Eris Harris, and number 5, Nick Phillips, back deep for the Eagles.
Wow, Eris Harris. I like that name.
Yeah.
Love it.
And
we apologize if we butcher any names.
It's not if, it's when and how many times.
But, I got to say it like that.
Exactly. So, right off the bat, looks like St. Pius is questioning how many men they have on special teams on the kickoff. So
I think we got 11.
I think we have 11. So they're doing some last minute. Brentwood, same boat here. They've got
everybody's trying to knock the rust off. It's one thing to do a jamboree. You didn't do any kickoffs.
You didn't do any special teams, whether that's kickoff return, punt, or punt return. So that is something that like I said, they're going to work through, and whether it's the kids, the coaches, or the referees, officials this evening, we'll probably see some mess-ups as well as St. Pius getting ready to kick off. McGuckin kicks off from the 40. Nice deep kick that's all the way back at the 10. That is number 8, Eris Harris, with the return. Still on his feet. Finally going to be brought down by a host of Eagles inside their own 34-yard line. And Brentwood will take over 1st and 10 for their first possession of this 2022 high school football season.
And I'm kind of curious to see how the defense of St. Pius is going to look. We watched them in the jamboree. I felt like they did a lot of really good things. I think they're big, they're athletic, they got some quick backers. I just wonder, especially with the passing offense that we could see tonight, if the secondary matches everything else.
Exactly. So as we get started here, looks like number 7, Ethan Ritter, is going to be the quarterback. They are in a spread formation. Looks like a trip bunch to the left, a single receiver out to the right. Number 4, John Clay, is going to be their primetime player, back and running back. Ritter takes the... and it's going to be a handoff here to John Clay.
Might have got half a yard right there.
Half a yard. Bring up a 2nd and long for the Eagles.
he's tackled by number 1, Austin McGuckin, and a couple other guys jumped in there. He's already starting out. Mr. McGuckin here, senior.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, and with the Jamboree, some of the things that we saw was making sure that the secondary doesn't let anybody behind them. That's talking about St. Pius, and with the skill positions that they have here at Brentwood, you have to think that's got to be a point of emphasis.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if they saw film, that's something they're probably going to look to exploit.
Staying in the spread, bunch right. That's going to be a pitch out to number 4, John Clay. Still on his feet, cuts back. That's going to be close depending on where the official spots the ball. And the way this near official is, he's already giving the sign that's going to be a first down for Brentwood.
Yeah, they created a great edge right there that allowed him to turn up field and pick up the first, because Dabrian Moss had that one lined up, but he got some good blocking on him.
Exactly, and for Brentwood, we said that Clay was their primetime player last year with well over 1,100 yards rushing, and so we're starting to see right off the bat just what Brentwood's trying to do, use some speed, use some space here. Now, once again, we have the same bunch formation, just bunch out to the left side, to the field side.
I look for Clay to be featured a lot today.
Exactly. Ritter waiting on the signs. Finally gets it. Takes the snap. Going to be another pitch out to the left side of the field. Possible holding that's not going to be called.
Yeah, there it is.
Now the flag comes out. And right away, Chris Miller, it's pretty obvious out on the edge that was holding.
Yeah, I believe it was number 8. Harris, great name, but he got a little. He can't block him that way.
No.
So.
And what we've seen from Brentwood is that they're trying to set up the edge, so they feel that right off the bat, their advantage is going to be their speed with John Clay. And what you're seeing from the Lancers is trying to string everything out and eventually bring the running back to the middle of the field. So with that penalty, that infraction, Brentwood's going to be backed up 10 yards, and that will bring up on the scoreboard a 1st and 21. So basically right where they started their first drive. Clock continues to roll with 10 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Ritter gets the snap, drops back to pass, flushed out of the pocket, and he's going to be brought down by, looks like, number 66. I know we don't have a 66 for the Eagles, so, 68. That's going to be Alex Connersman for the Lancers, and QB Ritter is able to pick up a few yards, about 6 on the scramble.
Yeah, and he did a good job right there of avoiding the pressure and making something positive out of something negative.
So that'll bring up a second, and we'll call it a 2nd and 15 for Brentwood.
Let's call it 14.
Okay, we'll call it 14.
I like that.
All right. So we now have a trips right, single receiver out left, Clay on the left side of Ritter. Now they're adjusting the formation, and with that, I believe we are going to get a timeout, Chris, and so if you'd like to, we can, with our first timeout of the evening, go to a commercial break.
Well, real quick, and we might just stay here for this one, but if you haven't already, you need to enter to win. We have a Cardinals tickets giveaway. All you have to do, you scan the QR code, you give your information as far as your name and your email to enter, and what we ask for any of our entries that you have to be qualified is you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You subscribe to our YouTube channel, that gives you 5 entries. If you can subscribe to Apple Podcasts, that'll get you 3. If you want to follow us on Twitter, that gets you 2. And it costs you absolutely nothing. We definitely don't want to charge anybody money for anything like that. This broadcast is brought to you free by their sponsors and by the goodness of our hearts. So, Zach, I think
we like to do this. We're sports junkies, and we thought, why not? I mean, we were able to broadcast a Herculaneum game last year, and we said, hey, let's do it again. As we come out of the timeout, man in motion, since Clay in motion, it's going to be a botched snap, brought down, sacked on the play by number 4.
Matt Mariani.
Matt Mariani. And that's exactly what you want if you are the Lancers.
Yeah, good pressure right there. Unfortunate bobbled snap. It looked like they were going to try to get the ball out to Clay in the flat, but that kind of put the quarterback a little bit of a disadvantage right there, having to pick that thing up off the ground.
Exactly. That's going to bring up about a 3rd and 22. So Brentwood has basically been in the same yardage since the opening kickoff return, starting at their own 29-yard line, and now here they are again at about their own 34, 33-yard line. So once again, trips out to the right, single receiver out to the left. QB takes the snap, drops back. He's going to look for a long seam. That's going to be thrown over the shoulders of the intended target. That is number 8, Eris Harris, and that is going to bring up a 4th and long for Brentwood.
Yeah, I believe number 7, Nolan Sipple, was in there to kind of keep him from doing it, but Sipple was very close to possibly getting the pass interference. I don't think it would have been called because the ball was thrown where the receiver could not catch it.
Exactly. It looked like it was about 3-4 yards over his head, but early on, that's something that we talked about pregame is St. Pius' secondary, making sure that they don't let anybody get back deep. And speaking of, that's going to be number 5, Nick Phillips. He is back deep to punt for Brentwood. And back for the Lancers, that's number 2, senior Eli Frimmel.
Frimmel's got some speed.
Yep. And we're going to have a botch snap again for Brentwood. Number 5 still on his feet, breaking through several tackles. Finally brought down just at the 45-yard line. That is not going to be good enough for first down. And with that, that is a turnover on downs, and St. Pius X is going to start their season in excellent field position.
I mean, that's just as good as a punt return, I think. So, I mean, they made the coverage, made the tackles, and now they're going to get the ball, like you said. Great position.
Yep.
And we'll see what they can do now with the ball.
I'm curious to see how they start out, if they're going to start out in their tight wishbone formation or if they're going to go spread. And as number 6, James Smith, breaks the huddle, they're actually going into that wishbone formation. Smith takes the handoff out to Dabrian Moss. Number 5 picks up a nice gain of about 4 yards for his first carry on the season.
And I look for Dabrian Moss to be one of the assortment of running backs that the Lancers have between Moss, McGuckin, Lane. I think they run about everybody else. Yeah, Nolan Sipple will play running back, and James Smith will be one who might be carrying the ball. But James Smith can also throw the ball.
He is. And I think right now, if you're Coach Oliver and the Lancers, you want to set a tone offensively coming out in this wishbone formation. Smith takes the snap, runs a triple option, pitched out to McGuckin, still on his feet. Good for a couple yards on the run. Looked to be brought down by number 5. That is Nick Phillips.
Yeah, and Phillips made a great tackle right there because McGuckin could not bounce out to the outside and get into another level right there.
Well, and right now it's early on. We have about 7 minutes, 15 seconds left in this first quarter. You still have a lot of adrenaline for both teams here, and with the lower numbers for Brentwood and St. Pius having, I believe, over 30, maybe close to 40 players, we'll see if that battle of numbers and attrition, comes to be a point of emphasis now here as Smith rolls out on the naked boot. Still has the ball, looking for a pass. Going to throw. Pass intended for number 86. That is Connor Hamilton. Throws just over his head, and that'll bring up a 4th and 4 at the Brentwood 39-yard line.
Yeah, he got flushed out of the pocket. I couldn't tell which number. They had an open receiver, I believe, and everybody in the booth up here is yelling he was open, and James couldn't hit him.
Well, and what you want to do, and as a coaching staff, you want to try and put your quarterback in that early position to succeed, something that he likes, something that he wants to do. Rolling out on a naked boot to his left side, he's a right-handed thrower. That's tough to do. Now as the Lancers in a spread look, puts McGuckin in motion. Smith's going to roll out to his right side, flips it over the head of number 11. The pass was intended, it looked like, for number 81. That's Drew Merciel. And with that, that's going to be a turnover on downs. And right now we're going to have a timeout. That's going to be an official's timeout for a water break with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the first quarter of a 0-0 score.
Well, we'll go ahead and take a real quick break. And when we come back, we'll pick up the action right here.
You are watching Between the Lines Friday Night Football, an Off the Rails media production.
I'm my team's #1 fan. Yay!
wanted anything until I put these babies on. Now we're on a winning streak, and I have never taken them off. Do I know where I'm going? Absolutely. We're going to the playoffs.
Allstate guarantees your rates won't go up just because of an accident, starting the day you sign up.
So get accident forgiveness from Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
New at Case & Bucks, all-you-can-eat soup and salad all day, every day. Choose from homemade soups like tortellini, loaded steak, green pepper, and many more. 7095 Metropolitan Boulevard in Barnhart, Missouri, just off 55. See our full menu at caseandbucksbarnhart.com.
All right, and we're back as both teams are back on the field.
Brentwood's going to take over for their second possession of the evening, and once again, they're on their own 39-yard line. And Chris, we saw, I think, in a typical opening drive for week one, it looked like a bunch of nerves on both sides.
Yeah, and I really think that as the game goes on, we're going to start seeing the kids calm down and everybody's going to start playing their game.
Ritter back to pass, going to have a receiver open right at the seam, makes a man miss, still on his feet, makes another man miss. Finally brought down on the play by number 2, Eli Frimmel. Big pitch and catch by number 5, Nick Phillips.
Yeah, and he did a really good job of turning around and finding the soft spot right in the middle of the field. And the quarterback, number 7, Ritter, just put it right on his numbers.
Right on his numbers, and that's kind of what we were talking about off air. What type of offensive plays are we going to get? Are we going to get some simple, just gimme type plays that are really just bread and butter? And that's what you saw. You just had an inside hitch from a slot receiver, and Phillips able to flip the script on the yardage. And right now they're going to be first and goal from about their 10-yard line, as it looked like number Clay in on the run. Good for about 5-6 yards. That'll bring up a 2nd and 3. Now I'm curious because they have it as 2nd and goal, but the yard marker was just outside the 10 at about the 11. So maybe it's just a bad spot, or maybe it's just our vantage point. But whatever the case, it's going to bring up a 2nd and goal from about, we'll call it the 4-yard line for the Eagles.
Yeah, so it's going to be curious to see how the Eagles kind of get the defense going right here to stop the Eagles.
Yep. So St. Pius right away, we're going to have a stoppage in play. Another timeout for Brentwood. I believe that's their second timeout of the half. Oh, now they're changing it, saying timeout St. Pius. So with 5:26 left to go in the first quarter, Brentwood knocking on the door of St. Pius, 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line.
Yeah, and they're marching down the field. They've had a good drive. Obviously, that pitch and catch right there from Ritter to Phillips, and Phillips made a nice move in the open field, made a defender miss, and picked up a lot of extra yardage.
Yeah, exactly. And right at the point of catch, he makes a man miss, and then downfield about 10-15 yards he makes another man miss, able to turn on the afterburners, and if it wasn't for Frimmel, that would have been 6 for Brentwood. So the Lancers need to calm themselves down right now. It's obviously going to be 4-down territory, as if last year's any indication of not really going for any field goal attempts. So if you're Brentwood, you're in the driver's seat. You're probably going to go to your bell cow, number 4, John Clay, on some rushing attempts. Now the question is, are they going to go try and test the Lancers up the gut, or are they going to try and use their speed, get outside?
I would say probably outside.
Pistol formation. It's going to be a handoff to 4. He is going to try and bounce it outside to the edge. Stiff arm, still on his feet. And with that is going to be a Brentwood touchdown.
Yeah, he made a couple of nice moves right there, and then just kind of, the Lancers couldn't get a hold of him to bring him down, and he just dove into the end zone.
Exactly. And so with 5:20 remaining in the first quarter, Brentwood scores first. And now they will set up for their point-after attempt. John Clay on the 4-yard touchdown run. So it looks like they are going to set up for a point-after field goal attempt, or point-after extra point kick. Looks like number 7, do it all, Ethan Ritter's back to kick for the Eagles. Waiting on the snap. Snap is good. Down. Kick is up. Kick is going to be called no good. Looks like it is short right. And with that, Brentwood first on the scoreboard, Chris.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, they had a really good drive and just challenging the Eagles to, right off the bat. And we thought coming in that challenge the Lancers right off the bat. Now we thought that the Lancers defense was definitely going to be the strong suit, but Brentwood's showing that they're here to play.
Exactly. Well, this was something else that, talking with the coaching staff of the Lancers, we said, what are you fearful of? And the thing that they said was the big play.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, especially when you get the ball in the second level and try to exploit the secondary, and that's, I mean, as games go on, as the game goes on and more games get played, you're going to see defenses gel, but you're also going to see offenses too. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how both teams kind of knock the rust off, get through that adrenaline rush, and kind of play, just play throughout.
Exactly, as the Eagles break their sideline huddle here to get ready for their kickoff. Back deep for the Lancers, it looks like number 2, Eli Frimmel. You also have number 5, Dabrian Moss, and number 1, Austin McGuckin. Looks like kicking for Brentwood is going to be number 8, Eris Harris.
Great name, does it all.
So we'll see how St. Pius responds, see if they can maybe get some good field position here, flip the script for themselves, and put together a nice sustained drive. So number 8, Eris Harris, walks off his steps. With the rules, all of the players have to be inside the 5-yard line. Now it still looks like there's some coaching from the sidelines as the left-footed kicker is going to have a nice kick down deep that's going to be caught by McGuckin at about the 15-yard line. He's going to be brought up still on his feet, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at the Lancer 38. And St. Pius will take over for their second drive here with 5:14 to go in the first period. So we'll see what type of adjustments offensively the Lancers have. We'll see what type of adjustments that the Brentwood Eagles have going forward throughout this game. So I'm curious to see if St. Pius is going to stay in the wishbone look. I know that the 3rd and short and 4th and short, they went to a spread. They were able to run that triple option, be able to get about a nice 5-6 yard gain last time. We'll see if the Lancers will go to their fullback. That's going to be sophomore number 23, Justin Lane. He is just a bowling ball at 6 foot, 210 pounds. You talk about weight room strong. And then as Brentwood, you've got a nice front 4 there with number 54. That's Jack O'Brien. Number 55, Taryn Jones. Number 62, Louis McGee, and number 24, who we do not have a name on the roster. As Smith takes the handoff, runs the speed option. That's going to be tossed out to McGuckin. Nice stiff arm, still on his feet, cuts. And then he's going to pick up nice yardage, and it looks like the way that the FAR official is spotting is going to be just short. Maybe get a timeout for a spot, but with it, the White Hat is going to go ahead and call a first down for St. Pius X High School. So nice little play there, nice speed option to the field side. Smith over to McGuckin. McGuckin makes a man miss with the stiff arm, cuts back up the middle, and gets the Lancers a nice 1st and 10 attempt at their own 48-yard line. So if you're Coach Oliver and staff, that's exactly what you want to see happen as you come out for your second possession. Smith waits on the snap, sends Dabrian Moss in motion. That's going to be a give, but there is a flag on the play. That is going to be on the Lancers, probably an illegal procedure as we go forward. We'll have to wait and see what the call is. But, yep, that's exactly what they said, illegal shift. So I'm curious to see if they're going to call it on Dabrian going downhill rather than just laterally down the line or behind the line of scrimmage, and if they need to talk to them and make an adjustment. So illegal procedure is going to move the Lancers back 5 yards, and so it'll bring up a 1st and 15. So the Lancers got it going here. And at the Jamboree, that was one of the things we talked about, how very few penalties there were that night for all three teams, as we have a few Lancers checking in for the ball game. It looks like number 11, Chase Watercutty, as Smith gets the play, breaks the huddle, going to bring the boys to the line. They're going to go back to the spread look. You have doubles, two receivers both to the left side and to the right side. Smith takes the snap. It's going to be another read option. Smith's going to keep it on the option, read run. We have another flag on the play. Smith picks up a nice gain of about 10 yards, but it looks like there's going to be another flag on the play, and we'll have to wait and see what that call is. And they're going to call a block in the back, it looks like, on the Lancers, and not what Coach Dan Oliver and company want in back-to-back plays.
No, absolutely not. And as a coach, that's got to be frustrating with good plays, good pickups, and just having to go back.
Well, I couldn't see where, but I'm assuming that a block in the back type call is going to come from a receiver out, and they were running out to the right side. And if you're a receiver, your job on any type of options, you've got to go initiate contact with your man, whether it's a backer, whether it's a safety, whether it's a corner, and you've got to make sure that you turn that man to the outside portion of the field. So now it's going to bring up a second and a long 23 for the Lancers, as once again, St. Pius in a double spread formation, two receivers on both sides. Smith dropped back to pass. Nice catch, pitch and throw right across the middle. That's going to be number 4, Matt Mariani. And just like that, the Lancers are going to pick up most of that yardage right back, and it will bring up a third down, third and about 3 for St. Pius X. And that's exactly what you have to have if you are St. Pius X. So it might bring up a second and, well, it's going to be second down. It's going to be 2nd and 3. Now they go back to the wishbone formation. It's going to be a handoff to Dabrian Moss. He's rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and that's going to be good enough for a Lancer first down. And you saw kind of a quick call. St. Pius getting up to the line of scrimmage as soon as possible and just running that handoff, that dive to the left-hand side. With 3:19 left to play in the first quarter, St. Pius on Brentwood's side of the field, now at Brentwood's 42-yard line, taking over 1st and 10. Going back to the spread formation, you've got trips to the left, one receiver out to the right. Smith waiting on the snap, gets the snap, going to keep it himself on the option. Nice gain right up the middle. Tackled on the play by, looks like, number 8, Eris Harris. And St. Pius really doing an excellent job on the field running this option game. And I absolutely love the speed option. You've got the spread option. They're running some triple option. It's just something at the high school level, collegiate level, that if it's done right, I mean, you're going to be able to see nice gains. And you've seen that the last several plays for the Lancers. James and the other players break the huddle. You've got double formation again. Two receivers out to the left and right. McGuckin in the backfield. Handoff. That's going to be a straight give to McGuckin, and he's going to get enough for a first down. Finally, the referees decide to blow the whistle. This looks like to be stopped on the play by number 4, John Clay. That's going to be good enough for another St. Pius Lancer first down. So you start to see some momentum here for the Lancers and the play calling of Coach Oliver. So really sticking to the running game here after that big pitch and catch from Smith over to Mariani. And now what they're doing, I think they're getting some momentum here. They're getting some swagger. As, again, we have two receivers out to the left, to the right, but basically two guys in the slot. Daber and Moss on the option to the left. We're going to have a long throw. That's going to be caught by number 2. We're going to see where they spot it. One official's in the end zone. Another official on the sideline. They're going to say incomplete pass. And they're going to say that he was pushed out of bounds. The sideline official is going to say that Frimmel, the receiver that caught the pass on the nice fade throw from Smith, was out of bounds and did not have any type of body part or foot landing inside the field of play. And so with that should bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Lancers. What an excellent play design, man, I thought that from our vantage point up here in the box, that I thought they were going to debate was it a touchdown or was he going to be down inside the 1? But instead, with a minute 34 left to go in the first quarter, it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Brentwood 33-yard line as Justin Lane goes in motion. Smith rolling out to the right side. Flood route caught by Dabrian Moss. Nice pickup. That's going to be about an 8-yard pitch and catch there. And the Lancers, with the clock rolling, don't seem to be fazed by that last play. So Brentwood reeling a little bit, and I think you're seeing some hands on hips. Right now it was warm. It was about 90, 91 degrees at kickoff. And we'll see how Brentwood can hold up under these numbers as now we go to a wishbone formation. We're going to get a handoff to Austin McGuckin. He's going to be met in the backfield by one of the Eagles. It looks like big number 65. That is J.D. Allen, first time calling his name on the defensive line. And so that'll bring up a 4th and 2 as the clock continues to run with 40 seconds on the game clock and 30 seconds on the play clock. So decision time if you are Coach Oliver and staff. What are they going to come up with? What type of play? As now it looks like they're going to go back to a spread look, but 2 receivers kind of in the slot. They're going to be a straight handoff. That's going to be a handoff, and that's going to be short. That's going to be a short handoff intended for number 7, Nolan Sipple, and that is with the near side official. That's going to be short. And Brentwood, with 14 seconds left to go in the first quarter, will take over on the turnover on downs.
Yeah, and hey, I want to go ahead and address it. Our main camera here, that you've probably watched it bounce up and down and shake and everything else. We got a lot of foot traffic in the press box right now, and trying to get that thing stabilized it's just not happening.
Yeah, just things out of our control. You know, I mean, it is what it is when you have coaching staffs, when you have all different types of cameramen for both teams. It is what it is. So we're doing the best we can with what we have, and I think right now we're doing a pretty decent job as Brentwood comes out for their third possession. We've got 2 running backs in the backfield. Number 21 on the carry, still on his feet. A lot of juking and jiving. That's going to be brought down for a tackle for loss. Number 21 on the carry, that is Simeon Cooper. And that will bring the end of the first quarter, and with that, the visiting Brentwood Eagles will take a 6-0 lead. And Chris, we will take a break.
We will take a break, and we will be right back with some more Between the Lines football, Friday Night Football. We will be right back.
Kind of a social media nerd. I'm also kind of a burglar. The couple that lives here posted online that they're out of town, so I'm turning su casa into mi casa. And if you share every detail of your life on social media, this could be you. So get Allstate, where agents keep you protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
No time to eat in? No problem. Don't feel like cooking? We'll do it for you. Need wings for your party? TJ's Bar and Grill has got you covered. TJ's is a local mom and pop establishment in Peevely, Missouri, known for their own homemade pizza sauce, barbecue sauce, and their famous TJ's wing sauce. Open 7 days a week, they are family friendly, biker friendly, and locally owned. Come by or order by phone with your credit card at 636-475-3648. TJ's Bar and Grill. We're glad you stopped by.
All right, we are back Between the Lines.
Yeah, we are.
Here we are on Friday Night Football. Sitting number 4 in motion, man in motion, looks to hit the seam again. That's going to be, pass intended for number 5. That is Nick Phillips. Almost picked off by number 86, Connor Hamilton. And Hamilton reading it all the way, just unable to pick up that interception.
Yeah, he was all over that. I'll be honest, if he wouldn't have made a play on that, Phillips is going to the house.
Yeah, exactly. And so at the start of the second quarter, just to go back through and review the first quarter, the only score that we had was with 5:20 remaining. That was a 4-yard touchdown rush by John Clay, the do-it-all running back for the Brentwood Eagles. And so Brentwood breaking the huddle. They are in spread formation themselves. Got trips out to the left-hand side, single receiver out to the right, putting number 4, John Clay, in. And now right here we have a fumble. Looks like a fumble on the play. QB Ethan Ritter trying to make something out of nothing. Looked like he had his arm going forward. And with that, we didn't see any type of bags coming out to signal a fumble. But either way, the way the officials call it, Brentwood is going to be down in distance. Marker on the field is 4th and 17.
Yeah, and Alex Moises, I believe it's number 56, got in there to strip the ball.
So exactly what you need if you're St. Pius. You get a nice stop here as Eli Frimmel back deep for the punt from number 5, Nick Phillips. Phillips with a kick out right to center or midfield. Caught by Frimmel, still on his feet. And he is going to be brought down inside Brentwood territory at Brentwood's 46-yard line. That'll be a 1st and 10 for the St. Pius X Lancers.
Well, and there's both possessions on offense now. They've had good starting spots on the field. They've got good field position. So, Coach Oliver's hoping that his team, his offense, can kind of get going and convert some first downs into touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. And it's still, it's basically the start of the second quarter with 10:53 left. You start to see players on both sides with some hands on some hips. And as it's basically guys that are doing both way or two-way players here as Smith breaks the huddle. Once again, we have now a change, putting Lane on the right side of Smith. Smith drops back to pass. Going to be a nice catch through the hands of Eli Frimmel. And just like on Brentwood's possession, if Frimmel can come up with that, that's going to be 6. Instead, that's going to bring up a 2nd and 10. And that was a bullet from number 6, James Smith. He had a lot of zip on that throw right on the long post corner, looked like, from Frimmel. And what the Lancers are seeing from their sideline is that the middle of Brentwood, they're going to attack that from the passing game. So now you have a new spread formation, almost a bunched doubles left and right, as we have a flag. Now we'll see if they call it encroachment or if they're going to call it false start. And with that, it does look like to be offsides on Brentwood. Oh, they actually called it false start. The far side official was pointing, both far side and near side officials were pointing towards the Brentwood. Now they have that corrected. That'll bring up a 2nd and 5 for St. Pius. And like we talked about, everybody's in week 1 mode. That's the players, coaches, officials, everybody up here in the booth. So trying to knock the rust off and knock all of the cobwebs, if you will, as we go back to the same look, same formation for St. Pius X. Smith takes the snap. It's going to be a straight handoff. Nice gain here. Looked like number 7. That is Nolan Sipple on the carry. That's going to be a nice first gain for the Lancers. So with that, as the clock continues to run, now we're under 10:30. That'll bring a 1st and 10 for St. Pius at Brentwood's 33-yard line. So as the Lancers break the huddle, Brentwood getting their defensive call, going back to a wishbone. It's going to be a bobble snap by James. He's going to go ahead and pick it up himself, going outside, tries to cut back. He's going to pick up a nice gain, and with that, a flag on the play. It looks like to be at the end. We're going to go ahead and assume from where we're at, that's in the area of a face mask. And so the far side official will wait to see what the call is to the white hat. And it looks like the way, yep, that is going to be a face mask. Now, I've been out of the game a little bit, so I don't know if that's going to be the 5-yard or the 15 variety. Looks to be a 5, so that's not going to be a personal foul call, as both high school has a 5-yard and a 15-yard penalty, I guess depending on the severity. So with that, that'll bring up a 1st and 10 for St. Pius, and with their first possession of the second quarter, they seem to be rolling.
Yeah, they're definitely moving the ball a little bit better this time around than what they did last time.
So wishbone formation. Smith under center, runs the triple option, makes a questionable pitch out to McGuckin. He's able to pick it up. That is a major face mask, and that has got to be where they are at inside the 20. That's going to be the bad type of face mask, and with that yardage, that should be half the distance to the goal.
I'm not really sure what Smith was thinking about trying to pitch that one there. You got to protect the ball, and Austin McGuckin picked that thing up and made something positive, and then about got his head ripped off.
I was going to say, for his efforts there, hopefully he's okay. Can't tell if he's still in the game or if he's on the sideline. But with that penalty, that should bring up a 1st and goal situation for the Eagles. It looks like it is posted at, from our vantage point, just inside the 10. So as the clock continues to roll with 9:30 remaining in the first half, St. Pius takes over 1st and goal, and we have a stoppage in play, and Brentwood is going to take their final timeout of the half.
Well, I'll tell you, it's starting to get a little interesting out there, ain't it?
It is, yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll see what happens out of this play call. Now, what's interesting, I think, is that Brentwood is out of timeouts, and there is a lot of ball left here in this first half. We'll see if that either on the offensive side or defensive side comes back to haunt them.
Yeah, and in high school is a little different, obviously, than college and pros, but if you get to a situation towards the end of the first half when you need those timeouts, if you're making a nice little drive, you wish you had them in your back pocket, and Brentwood doesn't have them now.
No, and my initial reaction is with only about, it looks like 14, 15 guys dressed for this ball game, what's going to happen with the conditioning level, because it's week 1, it's hot, it's a humid evening here at Father Dalton Stadium in Festus, Missouri. So we'll see if that has, any effect on the Eagles. So Brentwood comes out of their timeout, their 3rd and final timeout of the half. St. Pius already in their huddle, as the players look to get their play call from the sideline. Smith gets the play, breaks the huddle. Play clock going down, now under 20. St. Pius in an I formation. Smith takes the handoff, runs a sweep to Dabrian Moss to the left-hand side. Nice gain. That's going to be a pickup of about 5-6 yards for the Lancers. That'll bring up a 2nd and goal. And Chris, for me, I'm seeing St. Pius trying to juke left and right on some times when maybe if they just put their nose down, they're going to go ahead and bowl over some of these defensive players for Brentwood.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing, Zach, that there was a run while ago where Smith kind of carried the ball, and I thought he could have just kept running, but he cut back to the inside. Don't dance, just go.
Yep. Wishbone formation. Number 1, McGuckin. It looks like he is stopped just shy at the 1, or maybe even inside the 1-yard line. So that'll bring up a 2nd down for St. Pius the 10th. As the clock continues to roll here, under 9 minutes in the first half, St. Pius knocking on the door of their first touchdown of this season. Double tight, wishbone formation. It's going to be a handoff. It looks like Dabrian Moss. And with that, St. Pius is going to tie this ball game up 6-6 with 8:38 remaining in this first half. Dabrian Moss.
And I know Dabrian's excited about that one. He definitely likes to score some touchdowns.
And running to the left side, and that's something I think that that the coaching staff of St. Pius, and you're going to have all kinds of different rotations and substitutions, but I think they really like that left side here.
They're definitely trying to exploit it a little bit.
Polecat formation for the Lancers. It's going to be a pass out. It looks like caught for the 2-point conversion. That is sophomore number 23, Justin Lane. And with that, the Lancers will take the lead at 8-6 with 8:38 remaining in this first half. So, Chris, do you want us to take us to a commercial, or are we going to stay here?
You know what? We're going to go ahead and stay here, Zach. We'll put it back up on us here in the booth. And we turned on the lights. The lights here at the stadium are starting to come on. And again, we want to apologize. We are having some issues with the press boxes shaking. We've been trying to check on it here.
Well, and Chris, I mean, not that one of our counterparts, Riley Blair, would know this, but we are located close to the New Madrid Fault. So there might be
I don't know how much that has to do with it. But, again, we apologize for it, and we don't have we are going to be looking at things at halftime to try to get it to where you guys have a better quality video. We're trying to do the best we can with it, and we apologize for any inconvenience. Like we said, that week one thing, trying to get some of those kinks worked out, is kind of one of our things that we have to do as we do this.
You don't know what you don't know until it happens. And,
absolutely.
I never thought Tremors. I mean, I know that's a nice 1990s movie, but
that's a terrible movie.
You didn't like Tremors?
No,
I liked
it was awful.
Oh, Kevin Bacon?
Well, Kevin Bacon can be connected to every actor.
6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. You don't know what that is? You need to look it up.
So as McGuckin takes the kick, he looks to be fine. Received by number 5 for Brentwood. That's Nick Phillips. He's going to go off to the right side, still on his feet. Nobody's going to touch him.
And I think he's going to score.
And that is going to be a touchdown for Brentwood, looking for any type of flags on the play. And there are no flags. And with that, he looked to run it back from, we're going to say, I don't know, about 82 yards.
Yeah, it looked like, right about that. So I can see that number 1, Austin McGuckin's kind of upset with himself. He feels like he missed a tackle right there, could have made a play. But, that's a good response from Brentwood to the Lancer touchdown, is to march right down the field and on a kickoff return and take the lead back.
Well, and
I think we have a flag on the play. The officials are huddling.
Really?
Yeah, Zach,
okay, well,
really.
I'm writing all this info down. We're talking about
We'll
Nick
see,
Phillips.
there's a flag on the...
So they're going to actually call a holding against Brentwood. So we're going to check the score and see if that kickoff return, that touchdown, is going to be negated, and see if Brentwood is going to take over possession as the officials are conferencing. And Chris, from my vantage point, I didn't see it. I don't know where they're calling the block in the back, and it looks like Coach Brooks from Brentwood is wanting to have that same conference. What's going on?
Yeah, I think he's a little upset with that one.
Yep.
And we're taking the score off the board, and I know the Eagles are pretty upset with it, but we'll see how they react to this, how they come back.
Yep, still a nice return by number 5, Nick Phillips. Still puts Brentwood in the driver's seat. They'll take over possession 1st and 10 inside the St. Pius, we're going to call it 26-yard line.
Sure, that sounds good.
Yep. As they break the huddle. Now we're going to see, are they tired? That adrenaline swing that they had scoring now, can they do something after this flipping momentum?
Right.
So you have trips out to the left-hand side for Brentwood, 1 receiver out to the right. Ritter waiting for the snap. It's going to be Ritter still on his feet, not brought down yet, hand tag, but with that they're finally going to say that the forward progress is down. So there was a sack on the play. Chris, I couldn't see.
We couldn't tell when exactly the whistle occurred.
Right.
Because there was a couple of different Lancers who had a hold of him. But that's what, again, talk about your response to certain things. And, with the flag coming, very fortunate to not be losing in the game.
Right. And
challenging the defense probably. I can hear Coach Tilden Watson, the defensive coordinator, up here. I can only imagine what's going on down there.
Well, I'm pretty sure most of Jefferson County can hear Coach Watson right now.
That's probably why we have such a shaky camera.
So that'll bring up a 2nd and 19 for Brentwood. We're going to have a bubble screen pass. Going to be stopped on the play. Big hit by number 56, Captain Alex Moises.
Great hit by Alex Moises, but that play happens because the Lancers were all over it, had great coverage right there between number 4, Matt Mariani, and number 7, Nolan Sipple, had kind of corralled the ball carrier, and then Alex Moises just went ahead and finished him off as he turned.
So right now you have 3rd and 20 for Brentwood. Coach, the way they're coming out, I'm going to say look at the seams right up the gut here as you have doubles. See if they can exploit that look as Ritter's going to take the pass, and they're looking for the corner. That's going to be caught, tipped from number 8. That is Eris Harris into the hands of number 21, Simeon Cooper, and Brentwood is going to score as both receivers were able to get behind the secondary of St. Pius. One of the things we talked about at the Jamboree, that the secondary is going to have to make some adjustments and stay behind these receivers. Instead, Brentwood takes a nice pitch and catch, a very interesting play here at about the 22-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, the ball was kind of underthrown to the initial receiver, and little tip drill action.
Yep.
And
well, both defensemen fell down.
Yeah, that doesn't really help when you're trying to defend that.
So Brentwood will look to go for the 2-point attempt. As you have a spread look, Wildcat QB going to be tackled on the play for no gain and no score. And so with that, with 6:31 remaining in the first half, Brentwood takes the lead again, 12-8 over the Lancers.
Yeah, and that's not exactly what you wanted to see if you're the St. Pius Lancers as far as how you respond to that big kickoff. I mean, they make one good play, and then, like we said, the secondary has got to do a little bit better job defending and can't let those guys get behind them. But we're going to go ahead and take a real quick break. You're watching Between the Lines football, Friday Night Football, on Off the Rails Media. All right, we are back here at Father Dalton Stadium in Festus, Missouri. Bit of a barn burner here between the visiting Brentwood Eagles and host St. Pius X Lancers. Brentwood on a touchdown catch from number 21, Simeon Cooper, from quarterback Ethan Ritter, taking the lead with 6:31 remaining in this first half.
And so we'll see once again if the Lancers can respond. Number 8, Harris, back to kick for Brentwood, the left-footed kicker. Has a nice deep kick inside the 5-yard line. Frimmel's going to take, and he's going to be brought down by number 5, Nick Phillips, inside the 5-yard line. And we will see early on the adversity and how the St. Pius X Lancers will respond.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure why Frimmel just kind of waited around to pick that thing up. He wasn't in a big hurry right away.
Well, the only thing I can think of is maybe he was going to see the way the ball was going to bounce and maybe bounce out of bounds. But, it was a good 10 yards still in bounds at roughly around the G on the field. So that would have had to have been a heck of a bounce to kick left. And with that, we'll see James Smith and see if he can lead this Lancer team with 6:27 remaining in the first half and see if they can get out of the shadow of their own end zone. Man in motion, that's Dabrian Moss. It's going to be a rollout to the left side. James with a nice catch. It's going to be caught by McGuckin for a pickup of about 12, 13 yards. And nice play there to get some breathing room for the Lancers. They'll pick up a first down.
And I got to say, especially with 6:17 left in the second quarter, I would say that now you can kind of open up the playbook, get James in motion, maybe use a little play action, maybe a couple little runs to set up some passes. But I'd like to see if the Lancers will put the ball in the air, move it, and try to move it down the field.
Yeah, you have plenty of time as the clock continues to wind down, and you get the ball back to start the second half. As Smith drops back to pass, flushed out of the pocket to the left-hand side, still on his feet, carrying that ball out away from his body, and he is going to be sacked on the play. And we have all of the receivers for the Lancers way downfield instead of maybe trying to work some mid-level or some drag, some short yardage, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 13-14 for the Lancers. Not exactly what you want for Coach Oliver and company.
No, and Smith tried to do it. He kept his eyes down the field. He was trying to make a play, and that's what you do want to see out of a quarterback when you're trying to throw the ball and he's scrambling instead of just always putting it down and running, because sometimes there might be guys free, but when you see your quarterback's in trouble, you got to start finding some.
You got to start working towards the quarterback.
Back towards him and not just run the other way like you're a 6th grader with your finger up wanting the ball.
So we'll see here. As St. Pius in the spread look, man in motion, looks to be Justin Lane. Roll out to the right side. James looking. Pass, I think, might have been intended for number 5, David Moss, but thrown well behind. And the Lancers fortunate enough that is not picked off.
Yeah, because that looked like it was going to an Eagle.
Yep.
Not a Lancer.
Right. So that'll bring up 3rd and 14 for St. Pius. And not what you want to have happen, because Brentwood, if you don't pick up a first down here, Brentwood, with their obvious explosive play ability, has plenty of time left to go in this first half. And if the clock would have kept rolling, they're out of timeouts. You maybe could have flipped the field. But we'll see here what the Lancers have drawn up on 3rd and 14. Trips to the right. Single receiver set out to the left-hand side. Smith avoids it. Throw out to receiver. That's going to be pass intended for Dabrian Moss. Long throw to the field side. It's going to be thrown out of bounds. And with that, Brentwood is going to have plenty of time with 4:47 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, not exactly the best throw there by Smith. He saw Dabrian kind of running open, but he got to do a better job of throwing the ball. And I got to say, the coverage by Brentwood is really good. And the other thing is they're also getting pressure on Smith, and they're with 4 guys, and that allows them to drop more guys in the secondary.
Right. Well, and with every route it seemed like a pretty long route. I mean, it takes time to develop, as we're going to have a quick pooch kick here by Smith over the head of the intended receiver. And nice kick. And a little extracurriculars here between a couple players. And Brentwood, with 4:40 remaining in the first half, is going to take possession right at about midfield at their own 49-yard line.
Yeah, and we'll see what they end up doing with the ball right now. I know that Ritter's done a really good job of throwing that thing around, and his playmakers are making plays. The skill position guys are making plays. The line's blocking extremely well. I'm very impressed, given what we've saw from the Lancers during their jamboree, that they've been able to hold their own for the most part. I mean, there's a couple plays where they got pressure on the quarterback, but they've also gave enough time to get the ball downfield.
Right, and how that is set up is Brentwood early in the game hitting some short hitch routes, some short intermediate routes right down the middle, and so that opens up and forces the St. Pius Lancers defense to creep up a little bit, and with that you're going to have Brentwood going on 2, and St. Pius going to have to gather themselves as they pick up the offsides infraction entering the neutral zone. So without any work done, Brentwood's going to pick up 5 yards, move across the midline, and bring up a 1st and 5.
Yeah, that's not what you really want to see, especially on first down after you change possession, but there's still plenty of time here. I know that Brentwood's looking to capitalize right now, especially with the Lancers getting the ball to start the second half.
Well, somebody for the Lancers needs to make a play right here. Okay, we talk about that losing Nate Rubel in the senior class, the senior group from last year, losing a lot of that leadership. Somebody else from the Lancers is going to have to step up in that leadership role. And right now, with another encroachment penalty, Brentwood picks up a 1st and 10 without a snap of the ball. So St. Pius is going to have to gather themselves, refocus, and see what they can do. And you see Coach Oliver stepping out onto the field, yelling at his players, probably saying, hey, get your heads in it.
Yeah, they probably have their head somewhere else. And I know as a coach, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
So Brentwood breaks the huddle in a pistol formation. Bunch set out to the left-hand side. There's going to be a handoff to number 4. Still on his feet. Fumble! And St. Pius is going to pick up the fumble. Coach Miller, who was it on the fumble recovery?
I'm still looking. Looks number 7, Nolan Sipple.
We just said needed a big play. Number 4, John Clay, tried to string the stretch play out to the left-hand side, cut back up the middle, able to strip the ball, and Nolan Sipple recovers the fumble. And 4:32, there's that momentum swing, and so now they have plenty of time to work the ball down the field, and they get the ball back to start the second half. So if St. Pius, they want to make sure that they're running the clock. Brentwood cannot call a timeout, and we'll see what the Lancers can do here as they break the huddle in a double spread formation. Smith looking right, pass is caught by number 4, Matt Mariani.
And I got to tell you, I sat in and watched a little bit of Lancer practice yesterday, and the coaches all rave about Matt Mariani and how well he runs his routes. And that's the kind of kid that they say that his routes are flawless. So if you're needing some big plays and he just checked out of the game, probably to get a quick drink and come back, that's the kid that I really want to go and get the ball to.
Once again, spread look. Smith puts Moss in motion. Handoff to Moss going up the left side. Nice block by McGuckin. Good enough for a first down. Dabrian Moss still on his feet. That's going to be good with forward progress inside Brentwood territory as Moss is down on the field, kind of holding his knees. And they're going to say, well, looks like Brentwood came up with a football, so maybe it's a turn. Yes, and it is. There was a fumble on the play. So Brentwood, just like that, they're going to shift or change the momentum, and they're going to take the ball back.
And that was all caused by number 8, Eris Harris, who got his hands on Moss, and Moss not protecting the ball, kind of coughed it up.
We've seen that from both sides, carrying that ball like a loaf of bread instead of tight, carrying with 2 points on the ball, right up, high and tight, as they say in the NFL, covering up both points. And that's going to be a point of emphasis probably for both coaching staffs going in here at halftime.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Brentwood in the driver's seat, once again takes over at their own 48-yard line. Now, they don't have a timeout, at least from our collection. Brentwood doesn't have a timeout left, so we'll see. And they're going to give it.
I think we're getting the confirmation. Earlier, there was a timeout by St. Pius. It initially was called for
That's
Brentwood,
right. They went from left to right. Okay.
There we go. So now they are out of timeouts.
So now they're officially out of timeouts. So they had water break timeouts. They've had timeouts for both sides, and I believe Brentwood's taking their last timeout. So, Chris, if you want to take a timeout, we can do that, or we can stay here. Whatever you
know
want to do.
what? I think we'll just take a real quick. No, we'll stay here. I like to stay here. We only got 3.5 minutes or whatever, 3:44 left, and players are coming back on. There's no sense to go anywhere else. So just stick right here. And again, I want to apologize if you're just tuning in. If you see the picture, if you see the camera shaking, we've got a lot of issues going upstairs, not just with our video, but with the teams videos
yep.
with some kind of shaking as far as keeping stability up on top where everybody has all their cameras. So we apologize for the shakiness. Hopefully nobody gets seasick from watching this.
Well, I'm just thinking, week 2 opponents for Brentwood and St. Pius, they're going to have some fun on their huddle film trying to figure out, is this Cloverfield or is this football?
The end zone cameras are great.
There we go. So Brentwood, 2 men back with a little counter action, still on his feet, number 21. Nice run, number 21. That is Simeon Cooper. Nice little counter.
Yeah, he definitely got up through the gap right there, and that cutback as he got past the line was a great move for him.
Yep, and you start to see once again the athleticism of Brentwood on display. That St. Pius just not breaking down and going for the first look instead of, hey, you know what? You don't have to look at eyes. You just got to go ahead and look right at the belly button. You say the same thing in basketball. Guy can't move unless the belly button moves, and they're kind of going for these fakes.
Yeah, definitely got to stay disciplined right here.
So Brentwood and Ritter breaks the huddle. You have doubles left, doubles right. Ritter takes the snap, back to pass. It's going to be thrown short. Pass is going to be picked off by number 7 of the Lancers. Still on his feet, number 7 for St. Pius. Nolan Sipple makes another big play. Second takeaway, gets a nice block, and the Lancers, with 2:45 remaining in the first half, they pick up and they get the momentum again. And let's see if there can be something that St. Pius can do. And there is a flag on the play, and I'm betting it's going to be a block in the back on St. Pius after the interception. So my guess is, and that's exactly what it is. So block in the back. St. Pius will retain possession after the interception from number 7, Nolan Sipple. That'll move them back from a nice return from the interception. But with 2:45 remaining,
they got the ball.
They have the ball.
And that was actually, that ball was underthrown because of the pressure that number 56, Alex Moises, the senior captain, getting in the face of number 7, Ethan Ritter, right there, and making that throw short, which allowed Sipple to just step right there and turn around and get it. He looked like it was thrown to him.
So my question is, Chris,
I don't know if I have the answer.
Well, we don't know how many timeouts St. Pius has left, just due to all the. We're going to say 2. Somebody up in the booth is saying 2. So you have time. You do not have to air it out all the way down the field and try and pick up big spots now. You can work and just try and pick up 7, 8, 9 yards, and you can still run the ball with plenty of time. But what you don't want to do is give the ball back to Brentwood, especially when you have the possession to start the second half, as Dabrian Moss is going to pick up a nice run of about 4 yards as the clock continues to wind down here.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Coach Oliver going right back to Dabrian right there after he coughed it up. You want to be able to make sure your senior has confidence in himself, and Dabrian's the kind of kid that I know that he's going to protect the ball probably from now on.
Exactly. So what you have seen from St. Pius is a lot of miscues, and you want to go ahead and hopefully get those out of the way early. Brentwood with the same thing as week 1. And we'll see what type of adjustments both coaches make here as Moss goes in motion. Smith's going to roll out to the left-hand side, pass across his body, and it is going to be picked up by number 1, Austin McGuckin.
Great catch right there by Austin. He kind of bobbled it, but you know what? Have presence of mind with the contact to go ahead and make the play, and that's a big play for the Lancers.
So we will see a 2-minute drill from St. Pius week 1 as we have Connor Hamilton sprinting out wide towards us. Smith waiting on the snap. Now takes it, drops back to pass. Pass is going to be thrown right across the middle, intended for, I believe, Hamilton. Drew Merciel was in the vicinity as well, and it was just a little high.
Yeah, I think both players, I believe, are running post patterns, and they both kind of came to the same place, and the ball came in between them.
Exactly, and so St. Pius looking to exploit the middle of Brentwood, kind of right up both hashes. And so that's fine. You've got 1:38 if you're St. Pius. You don't have to rush. You don't have to get it all back at once. But maybe you can make a man miss here or there, pick up a first down in this next play. As Lane goes in motion, Smith rolls out to the right-hand side and does the smart thing. He was flushed out from the backside, does the right thing, throws it away.
There was definitely a lot of heat coming down on him on the backside. Number 24, we don't have a number.
No, there
for
is
him.
not a 24, and he's had a couple plays. Don't exactly know who it is, so apologize to
might be Demetrius Thompson. Could be. We're not really sure, but it's definitely number 24 out there who was trying to flush him out.
So we have a trips bunch formation out to the right-hand side for St. Pius. Single receiver high on the left side. One running back in the backfield. Smith's going to take the snap, roll out right. Nice little drag. That's going to be tipped and eventually intercepted. Still on his feet. That's number 21. And Brentwood in the driver's seat as we have a dropped ball by St. Pius.
Number 86, Connor Hamilton.
Would have been a nice pickup, but instead an interception for the Brentwood Eagles, and they are in the driver's seat with 1:23 remaining in this first half.
You take the ball. No, you take it. No, you take it.
Well, just exactly what we talked about, you know. Brentwood out of timeouts. They can't stop the clock. You get the ball back, and this is exactly what you didn't want to have happen. This is what you didn't need. This is what you didn't want to have happen if you were St. Pius X High School. So, again, we'll see what Coach Brooks and the Brentwood Eagles have up their sleeve with 1:23 left to play. Brentwood holding to a 12-8 lead. So Brentwood breaks the huddle. Little bunch formation down on the boundary side. Pitch out to number 4. Number 4 on the run, John Clay, going to pick up a gain of about 3 yards as the clock is going to continue to roll down and tick down, and we'll see what Coach Brooks is going to draw up here without any timeouts as we are about to be under a minute remaining in this first half.
Yeah, nice play right there by the quarterback and linebacker James Smith to make that tackle inbounds. The clock keeps moving. We're 50 seconds now.
Yep. Well, as the play clock runs down under 10, you cannot let any receivers get beat out behind you. So right now we have a flag on the play. Still have 3 seconds left. There's going to be a false start on Brentwood. That'll move them back 5 yards. That'll bring up about a 2nd and 11 or a short 12. And so still with 38 seconds, basically 39 seconds remaining on the clock, if you're St. Pius, you can bend, but you cannot break, and you cannot let any receivers get behind you as the play clock is going to continue to roll. So right now, if you're Brentwood, you probably have 1 play, 2 plays if you can pick up a first down. But you're going to have to get out of bounds because the clock's going to roll once the official's set after a first down. 20 seconds. So we have a Wildcat formation. That's number 2 back at quarterback. Left-handed QB throws a nice ball, gets behind 2 receivers, and we'll see if he is in, and yes, it is. Number 2, that is Trent Mitchell with a nice 20 That's going to be about a 34-yard touchdown. And, Chris, what did we just say about not letting receivers get behind you?
Yeah, that you can't let receivers get behind you. What a great pitch and catch, especially catch with two guys who he got behind. I can't see who caught the ball.
I don't know if it was number 8 again, but we know that number 2, Trent Mitchell, threw the ball. So that was a nice pass. I mean, it was just a straight vertical route for Brentwood, nothing fancy whatsoever. And Brentwood will elect to kick the extra point.
They have not been successful on any point after attempt that they've tried yet. Hence the score.
So that's Ritter back to kick. Snap is up, kick is up, and it is good. And with 10 seconds remaining, Brentwood is going to take a 19-8 lead.
And that's if you're the Lancers, that's exactly what you didn't want to have happen.
Yep. Well, that was what we saw from the Jamboree, and that's what teams are going to see watching this film going forward is if that secondary doesn't start to clean things up and stay with their man, they're going to get exploited.
And there's a lot of athleticism that Brentwood has. I know they don't have a lot of numbers, but you can tell that Coach Brooks is doing a great job with coaching up his kids, and they're putting the ball in the hands of their playmakers and their skill players that are very athletic. I know Clay is, to me, it looks like he's a big-time back. He's got speed. He's got size. You've got plenty of guys to toss the ball to. Number 8, Harris, great name, still love it. Nick
21.
Phillips, we've already seen him make a big play. 21.
Simeon Cooper.
And one of those guys caught that one right there in the corner. We couldn't really tell.
I thought it was number 8, Harris, but could be wrong because from our vantage point in the booth, we couldn't really see. But what we do see is a 19-8 lead by visiting Brentwood Eagles, and Coach Oliver and the boys with 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Let's see if they can pull off some type of decent return, or unless Brentwood's going to be okay with squib kicking.
I think a squib kick's coming.
And then either way, Dan Oliver and the Lancer staff are going to have to come up with some type of adjustments, as we're going to see if they touch the ball. Well, it's well after the 10 yards, and St. Pius is going to come up with the possession. So 8 seconds left to go here in the first half. St. Pius is going to most likely end the first half with this final possession. And so maybe try and get a big play here, 8 seconds. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to throw an interception, let the other team go back and potentially do a pick six. That is the worst case scenario.
No, but, I'm the kind of guy in this situation, I would like to get a big play.
Yeah.
And if I can get that thing and throw it in the air 30, 40 yards, see what can happen. Maybe you can get a flag, things like that. That's what I would. To me, and Zach, you know this from us coaching football together. I don't know what I'm talking about. So it's a lot of Madden. We didn't have we didn't have football at South Iron where I went to high school.
A lot of NCAA football.
NCAA football.
I wish they'd bring that back.
Well, with name, image, likeness, they really should.
They should. Now, you
Ed
think
O'Bannon ruined everything for
yep.
us.
So officials are saying that the clock needs to be reset, and I guess they're going to put it back to 10 or 11 seconds.
11
seconds even. And so St. Pius see what they do if they're
hook and ladder.
Hook and ladder.
Run the
all right, Billy Bob.
Run the
oop-de-oop, yep. Or if they're going to take a knee and just be content as they are in an I formation look. You have two defensemen back deep, as you're going to have a halfback pass that's going to be a wobbler for Dabrian Moss. And so St. Pius will have a 2nd and 10 with 6.8 seconds left to go.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good pass by Dabrian. Hey, we talked about the miscues. The miscues. Now, both teams have had their fair share. But to me, it just seems like St. Pius has definitely had a little bit more.
Yes.
And that's why the Eagles have taken advantage of it, and they're winning going into halftime.
Right. So as Smith takes the snap, and he is going to go down, and I believe Coach Oliver is going to be content with running the clock out. So at the end of the first half, the visiting Brentwood Eagles are going to take a 19-8 lead into the locker room. So, Chris, we will.
We're going to be. We'll kind of have some. We'll just keep our screen up there as we go into halftime here, so that way we can try to. We're going to see if we can work on a couple things, technical wise, so that way hopefully we can get the camera situation figured out. So that way it's a little bit easier to watch. I don't want anybody to have to take any Dramamine to keep themselves from getting motion sickness, but we'll leave it right here, and we'll pick it up with our halftime, little halftime analysis here in a little bit. But you're watching Between the Lines football presented by Off the Rails Media. We'll be right back. was a little quick. All right, welcome back to Between the Lines Friday Night Football presented by Off the Rails. We are off the rails.
Always.
It's definitely, yeah. We're hoping that we have a little bit better with our camera. You can see it's still kind of vibrating a little bit, but
yeah. It's all right. We're going to make it work, and we're going to work through it. And talking a little bit about the first half of the game as Brentwood is ahead of St. Pius 19-8. We're here at halftime. They've got about 2:15 left to go, plus the 3 minutes of stretch time. We'll kind of recap the scoring plays. So Brentwood gets on the board first with the 4-yard touchdown rush by John Clay at 5:20 in the first quarter. St. Pius, they answer right back with a Dabrian Moss 1-yard touchdown run and 2-point conversion to go up 8-6 with 8:36. And then Brentwood able to capitalize twice on getting behind St. Pius secondary. First with a 22-yard pass from number 7 Ethan Ritter to number 21 Simeon Cooper. And then right before the end of the first half, number 2 Trent Mitchell with a nice pass, 34-yard pass to number 8 Eris Harris. And so everybody that we talked about in pregame, Chris, is in and on the scoreboard for Brentwood.
Yeah, all their playmakers. I mean, they don't have a lot of players, so those guys have to be in on those plays. But they're getting the ball to their playmakers. Their playmakers are making plays. And when your skilled players are doing that and your line's blocking and you're capitalizing on mistakes from the other team, I mean, that's why they're ahead right now by 11. You know, it's getting ready to start the second half. And, I mean, I'm very, very impressed with the level of play from them considering their numbers.
Right. And so I'm curious to see what both adjustments from both coaching staffs are going to be. So St. Pius will take this first possession as they come out, and I'm not going to say it is a must score, but I'm going to say they need to have a sustained drive, and it would really, really benefit them to get on the scoreboard again to try and close that gap, because I think if they don't score for St. Pius, the worst case scenario would be Brentwood breaking off another big play and then maybe potentially putting that game out of reach for St. Pius. Now, St. Pius can have a sustained drive. Who we haven't seen and haven't really heard much from, Chris, is sophomore fullback Justin Lane. So I'd like to see him get involved in this offense in the second half. I mean, they did an excellent job running the triple option out of their wishbone. I thought they did fantastic out of the spread option, running some speed option with James Smith and Austin McGuckin. So we'll see the adjustments that need to be made, but from an offensive standpoint, Brentwood going ahead and hitting some either seam-type routes, mid-level routes with hitches, some post curls, and then bringing up the secondary for the Lancers, and then basically after that using their speedsters to get behind them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you can't let those guys get back there and be allowed to make those plays. Like I said, the line is blocking well enough. I mean, they've given up a couple of sacks, but at the same time, they've got it right back with big plays to their playmakers. We've already seen Nick Phillips make a couple of nice plays after he's caught the ball. I mean, when your receivers are getting yards after catch, it's not a good thing. You're making the field a lot smaller on defense.
Right. And so Brentwood, and with Coach Brooks, I'm curious to see, they haven't really had a lot of success running the ball. I mean, obviously they had the very first score, which was on a 4-yard run. But other than that, we haven't really seen big play ability. We had a touchdown that was called back on a kickoff return. So I'm curious to see what Coach Brooks and company are going to do in terms of, are they going to try and bleed the clock, or are they going to say, you know what, hey, let's continue just to air raid and see if we can continue to get behind St. Pius's secondary?
I think you just got to do with what's working. And if it ain't broke, you don't fix it.
Right.
I would continue to try to exploit it and see if there's any adjustments made. And if the Lancers fail to make the adjustments, I would say that that Ritter and company just continue to toss the ball down the field. I hate saying that because, I work St. Pius.
Right.
But watching the game objectively, if I'm Coach Brooks, I'm not going to change a whole lot.
The only thing, Chris, that I'm going to say, and you know that I'm more conservative when it comes to
that's the word.
The play calling, is I worry about if I'm going to go ahead and go out and air raid, if I'm not going to make connections and I'm not going to make first downs, keep the clock rolling, well then what you're doing is you're going to give time back and you're going to give extra possessions back to St. Pius. And so it's this, chicken or the egg, so to speak, with Brentwood. They control all the cards right now with a 2-score lead. They're going to, after St. Pius possession here, if St. Pius scores, we'll see what Brentwood, how they respond. But if St. Pius comes out and can't come away with any points in this opening drive of the second half, they're in the driver's seat, and they can dictate whatever type of pace of play that they want.
Right. And I expect that to happen. And we'll see how the Lancers do getting the ball here to start the second half and how they respond. We've seen a lot of miscues. We've seen a lot of sloppy play, some giveaways, and takeaways by the Brentwood Eagles. So we're kind of curious to see what the Lancers do now.
Yep. So some scores around the area. Herculaneum up 28-6. They are playing against Windsor. We have, we have Summit up 27-0 over Webster. We have a tie ball game between the Seckman Jaguars and Valley Catholic Warriors as Frimmel's going to take the opening kickoff inside the 10, and he's going to fall and fumble. Curious if they were going to say he was down, as the St. Pius runners are still carrying this ball off of their body, and Brentwood is going to come up with a turnover, another turnover for the Lancers, and right off the bat, Coach Brooks and company they're feeling good.
I would say I'd feel really good too. You just kicked the ball back, and the Lancers just gave it right back to you.
That ball security, I would imagine, is going to be a point of emphasis, if not number one, for the Lancers going into practice next week.
I would definitely agree with that.
So as Brentwood waits to get their play and now start their opening drive, so any momentum that you just had from St. Pius being able to score, it's gone. Now, maybe they can come up with another play themselves, create a turnover, get the ball back, as Ritter waits to get the snap. We're going to have a direct snap to Clay up to the right side, still on his feet, and that's going to be a nice gain for Brentwood, about an 8-9 yard gain for number 4. So Brentwood with a little, not trickeration, but something that they haven't shown yet, with the direct snap to the do-it-all running back number 4, John Clay. Be a second and we'll call it a long 2 for Brentwood, as the clock is not rolling. Clock, now it is. The beginning stages of the third quarter. So now we have another direct snap to Clay. He's going to go over to the left side. He's going to bounce it outside, still on his feet, going to be brought down. That is going to be good enough for a first down. And Coach Miller, we see that they're going to keep the ball on the ground and give it to their running back that had over 1,100 yards last year and 24 touchdowns.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Clay, especially in the second quarter, be involved, but it looks like that's kind of the mindset. And again, this is why I don't know anything about football. I would say just keep airing it out. You're the football guy. I'm not.
Well, thank you.
I just coach basketball.
Hey, but, well, it's all right.
Not well either, but go ahead.
But so we did see a little different trickeration with some direct snap. Now Ritter's going to go ahead and hand it off to Cooper. Cooper's still on his feet. Alex Moyse is grabbing the uniform, and St. Pius looked to be a little deflated with that fumble, and Brentwood able to pick up some nice yardage on some carries. That'll bring up a 2nd and 6 for the Eagles.
Yeah, they're just trying to put it right down the throat of St. Pius and say, you know what, hey, if you guys are going to act like that, we're just going to go ahead and score.
Yep. So for the Lancers, somebody needs to step up and make a big play here.
We've seen it happen.
Yep.
You know, Nolan Sipley has 2 takeaways by himself, but they're running out of field.
Mm-hmm. So 2 running backs deep with Ritter. Spread look. That's going to be a counter play to Clay, still on his feet. That's a nice tackle there by number 6. That is James Smith, the linebacker, able to keep number 4, John Clay, corralled. That'll bring up a 3rd and 6, so a run for no gain.
Yeah, good tackle right there by Smith. He's they're gonna have to make a stand right now.
Yep. So as the clock winds down, under 9:37 left to go in the third quarter, Brentwood clinging to a 19-8 lead. 3rd and 6 inside the Lancer 10-yard line. Not enough for a 1st and goals. We have another direct snap going right to John Clay. Wide open. Going to cut it back in for the end zone. And that will be good enough for a Brentwood touchdown. That is going to be a 7-yard run for John Clay.
Yeah, big time run right there, and just using his speed and his athleticism to get to the edge and put it in for 6.
Well, and what happens on these direct snaps, Chris, is that most of the time when the quarterback takes a snap, if he's not a nimble QB, it's 11 on 10 defense to offense. But when you do a direct snap to a running back, now all of a sudden it's 11 on 11, and what you're seeing is that extra blocker for Brentwood is opening up some running lanes for the Eagles, and namely number 4, John Clay. As we have a point after kick attempt, is going to be good. So, Coach Brooks couldn't draw it up any better. Off the kickoff return, creates a turnover and goes immediately right down the field for a nice sustained drive. And with 9:19 left to play, the Brentwood Eagles have extended their lead 26-8.
And you can just see to me, and I'm just watching this, again, trying to be objective because I know all these kids for St. Pius. The body language right now is not good.
Right.
Right now, with 17 seniors on your team, your senior leadership needs to step up, start getting your fellow teammates pumped up. There's a lot of time, and in high school football, I mean, it's only a couple plays here and there, and the game is close again.
Yep.
And that's what you got to do.
You're going to have to develop some leadership and not, finger pointers. But while they're getting ready for the kickoff, we have some area scores to report. North County leading Farmington 29-15. Seckman has taken a 28-21 lead over Valley. St. John leading 21-19 over Festus. Herculaneum with the big lead, 28-6 over Windsor. Fredericktown leading R7. Jefferson 6-3. Hillsboro up big, 35-0 over Sykeston. I believe Sykeston had just scored. As now we're going to have a return. McGuckin takes the nice kick, still on his feet, moving, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Nice return for the Lancers and number 1 McGuckin. And with that, St. Pius will take over 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line.
Yeah, it was a good solid run return right there by the senior Austin McGuckin. And he's a fiery kid, and he wants to win. And again, you're going to try to see what kind of leadership you have right now, and are they going to be able to step up to the challenge that the Brentwood Eagles have come in here on your home field, and and they're laying the smack right now.
Yep. Other scores: Crystal City up 22-0, DeSoto up big, so they're going to pick up their first win, 42-6 over DeBerg. No score to report for Melville or Fox. Central up 7-0 against Poplar Bluff. As McGuckin with a nice gain, and he's going to fumble the ball. And it looks like Brentwood, they're saying that they have possession. So yet another fumble for the Lancers. And these ball carriers, Coach, they are just holding the ball away from their body. There's no concept of being high and tight with it and covering it up with 2 points.
Yeah.
It is going to be recovered by St. Pius, and we'll see. It looks like they are bringing it down for 1st and 10. So Coach Oliver and company, they avoid yet a almost big disaster.
Yeah, I believe that's the fourth fumble so far, and 3 of those have been lost. And, it was a good run by McGuckin right there. But as you said, you start getting in that second level with guys with quick hands. You just got to be aware of those things.
So Smith, back deep, going to run the option. He's going to keep it. That's going to be a nice run there for number 6 QB James Smith, and that is going to be good enough for a first down for the Lancers. Other scores that we have: Oakville up big on Perryville, 35-0, and then Potosi up 14-0 over St. Clair. And we'll try and keep you posted as we have any scores that are coming in. As St. Pius now on the Eagles side of the field at Brentwood's 33-34 yard line. Smith takes the snap. Going to be another read option handoff. Keeps it. Nice run. Still on his feet. Cuts back up the middle. Makes another cut. Still on his feet. And touchdown. Touchdown St. Pius Lancers. That is James Smith on the QB read option keeper. And, Coach, we said that was about a 36-yard TD run there for James Smith. And they are right back in this ballgame.
That's what you got to do. And, again, being at practice and just seeing some of the stuff that James Smith can do, he is really, really good at play action and options where he can fake out, players, fake out other players.
Yeah. So we have a man down right now, and Chris, why don't we go ahead and take a break here?
All right, we'll be right back. You're watching Between the Lines football.
Friday night football.
Friday night football. I keep saying that.
It's all right. Just between the lines
now.
now.
All right. We're between the lines. We're off the rails. That's what we do, man.
And we're having fun here. Week 1 of high school football.
We'll be right back.
Tailgating to get to my tailgate. Now, it might not get me there any faster, but hey, it gets me ready for football. Let's tailgate.
I can't go anywhere.
But you're so busy watching me tailgate that you don't see the one in front of you. And your cut rate car insurance, it might not pay for this. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
All right, so we were back here between the lines. Friday night football looked like the injured Eagles, number 21, Simeon Cooper, one of their go-to guys for Brentwood. And with 8:07 left to go in this third quarter, St. Pius with the 36-yard touchdown option keeper, QB keeper for James Smith. Going back, it looks to that, we'll call it a polecat look.
I like how you call it a polecat look.
Well, that's what it is traditionally here, but normally they bring the guys back over to the middle for for the kick, but Pius always going to elect to go for 2. So now Smith with it, rolls out, and
he got it in there, I
did
think.
He? That is good.
Holy
2-point
smokes.
attempt is good. Who caught that, Chris? I couldn't even tell. It looks like number 1, Austin McGuckin.
I believe it was number 1, Austin McGuckin.
So, hey, with that, maybe that's exactly what you need if you are the Lancers, a little momentum here. And so that'll bring the score up to 26-16.
Yeah, and that again, that was a couple nice plays right there by quarterback James Smith. I mean, I didn't see any room for him to throw that thing in there.
No, and what Brentwood did the second time around is that they went ahead, had 3 guys over, and they sent number 8, Harris, in to create some pressure. Last time they didn't know exactly how to handle it. They made that little adjustment, put James on the run. But, man, you talk about threading the needle. That's exactly what he did there on that 2-point conversion.
And James is a multi-sport athlete. He plays basketball for me, and there's sometimes when he gets a rebound, decides he's going to start. James isn't traditionally a point guard because of his size, but he thinks he is. And he starts to dribble, and somebody goes to try to take it from him. He goes behind the back. And I'm like, what are you doing? Where did you learn that?
Makes a good pass outlet.
My favorite answer is like, hey, why? When did you think to do that? And he goes, I don't know. I just thought that was probably the best thing to do, is go behind my back. You practice that? But James is that kind of kid.
Yeah, practice.
He's that kind of kid that he can do things like that, and he's I think he's going to have a special year this year.
Yeah. So hopefully that not only the option touchdown run, but also this 2-point conversion gets a little life in the legs of the Lancers here as they will look to kick off. As that is Nolan Sipple with a nice kick right at the 15-yard line. That's going to be 8. And he's going to shift left and right. Now he's still on his feet. Finally tackled by number 7, Nolan Sipple. So Sipple with a nice kick. It just happened to be right at number 8, Harris. And Harris, man, I think at this point, I don't think I'm kicking to anybody anymore, Coach. I'll squib kick it, let him take it out of bounds. Not out of bounds, but let him take it at the 25 and see if they can do a 75-yard drive.
Yeah, and just again, talk about needing to be disciplined.
Yep.
Where we're going to break down. We're watching the Lancers getting juked on single moves.
Yep.
And they're just making guys miss because they're not being disciplined and going and tackling like they're coached up to do.
Right. So with 7:56 left to go the third quarter, Brentwood will take over 1st and 10 at the Lancer 38-yard line. So now spread, you've got 2 running backs back with Ritter, the QB, and I bet we will continue to see number 4, John Clay, as right on cue, he's going to take the handoff and stopped by a bevy of Lancers. So Coach Brooks, like we talked about at halftime, electing to go ahead and maybe run some clock, maybe see if he can pull out a play-action pass just to see what the secondary is going to do, if they're going to continue to creep up. And so what Brentwood has, because of such explosive athleticism, St. Pius has to go not only watch deep, so they have to have guys back, but they also have to understand that they're getting outmatched in terms of numbers on up front within the front 7. As now we have another direct snap to Clay to the left side of the field. It's going to be strung out. That's going to be a nice defensive effort there by the Lancers, able to corral and keep John Clay from getting to the outside.
Yeah, I believe that was number 86, Connor Hamilton, right there with the tackle. And you can see a couple of those guys really breaking down and trying to get in there to make the tackle like they should. But I'll tell you what, the blocking from Brentwood is fantastic.
And with that, it looks like the quarterback, number 7, Ethan Ritter, was injured on the play. Looks like maybe just cramps. So now we have Trent Mitchell. He came in earlier at the end of the first half and threw a 34-yard touchdown pass to Harris. So he obviously can throw. The lefty throws a nice ball, and we'll see what happens here if they're going to
direct snap.
Okay.
Nope,
here we go.
I was wrong. See?
Yep. Going to have a same exact play, and with that, pass is going to be broken up. But there is a flag on the play in the area of holding. So we'll see what happens. But Chris, I'll be honest with you. I thought St. Pius' secondary just let that ball come to them instead of attacking it, trying to high point it, and they were lucky to get their hands on it because number 8, Eris Harris, and number 21, Simeon Cooper, they were right there just to maybe make a play.
I mean, if Nolan Sipple, number 7, doesn't get his hand in that pass, it's another touchdown.
Yep.
But it would have got called back because we do have a hold. It has been confirmed, and so we're going to be moving back, and it's going to be third and a long way.
Yeah, third and probably we'll call it an 18 here. Third and 22 is on the scoreboard. Also, 6:13 left to play in this third quarter. So, St. Pius avoids the big play. We have new quarterback number 2, Trent Mitchell, in the game as Ritter is out with some cramping and it looks like his left leg. And now we have a complete spread. 3 receivers out to the left, 2 out to the right. Is it going to be a pass or is it going to be a QB scramble? That's going to be a design QB right up the gut. And he's going to get about all of the yardage that they lost right back. And, Coach, I mean, floodgates were open right up the middle for Brentwood.
Yep. There was nobody in the middle to make that play.
Nope. So now, though, it is going to bring up a 4th and 10 for the Lancers as Brentwood right back to the original line of scrimmage. So Brentwood waiting on the play call. Now you're going to have to either air one out, maybe work a little mid-range hitch route, which we haven't seen in a while, or with Trent Mitchell and his legs, he's obviously capable of taking it by himself and picking up a first down.
Absolutely.
And with that, as the play clock runs down, Brentwood and Coach Brooks is going to take a timeout and think about it. So, Chris, do you want to stay here or do we want to take a quick 30-second pause?
We will take a quick 30-second pause, and we will be right back with more Between the Lines football, Friday Night Football. I stopped myself that time.
Here we go.
Presented by Off the Rails Media.
Hi, I'm Brant Tarkenton, Hall of Fame quarterback and founder of Tarkenton Financial. And this is my good friend and partner, Brian Waits, founder of Waits Financial Services.
Thanks, Fran. At Waits Financial Services, we believe in educating our clients, providing courteous service, and helping every person we work with create a winning game plan for their retirement.
Retirement is a lot like football. You need a solid game plan and great teammates in order to achieve success. That's why I started Tarkenton Financial, to help educate people about their choices and connect them with advisors I trust. And Brian is one of my trusted partners.
I'm here to help you meet your financial goals, minimize your tax burden, and ensure that you have income guaranteed for life. Let's get to work on your retirement game plan.
Call Brian Waits at Waits Financial Services today. You'll be glad you did.
All right, we are back here Between the Lines. Festus, Missouri, Father Dalton Stadium, visiting Brentwood Eagles, host St. Pius X's Lancers, and we're going to have a 4th and 10, arguably one of the biggest plays of the evening as Brentwood clinging to a 10-point lead, 26-16. So we still have number 2 and a QB. It's going to be a pass out to the right. Gets behind the QB, gets behind the defensive back, just outside the outstretched arms of, it looks like,
Number 5,
and that is
Nick
Phillips. Haven't really called his name that much. But
Not lately.
With the corner route, and Chris, they're getting open. I mean, I don't understand the adjustments on why they are not dropping back just a little bit.
I believe what the Lancers' defensive philosophy is to try to jam the receivers, and right now the defensive backs are not jamming the wide receivers, and they're allowing them to have a full head of steam. And number 2, Eli Frimmel, is very, very fortunate right there that thing wasn't caught for a touchdown.
So as Davier Moss is going to go in motion, and he's going to take the handoff. He's got that ball out off of his chest again, but it is going to be close for a Lancer first down. And the way the mark is, yes, the far side official is going to bring up, a 1st and 10. But, Chris, we see it again. They have got that ball way out. It is not high and tight, and hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them in the rear end.
No, objectively, I would say that, if I'm Brentwood, I'm going to try to poke that thing out just like they have. They've forced 4 fumbles already tonight.
And so we go back to the spread formation. Number 23, Lane in the backfield with QB Smith. Moss again in motion. Going to run the triple option. Going to be a botched play. James Smith's going to go ahead and keep it. Makes a guy miss. And there it is. Exactly what we talk about. Ball security. And Brentwood players are saying it's their ball. St. Pius is saying it's their ball. And we've got, we'll see the decision, as officials are going to say that St. Pius retains possession, and they definitely dodged a bullet here as the clock continues to run. Under 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this third quarter.
Ball security is kind of important.
Yep.
That's 5 fumbles now.
5 fumbles.
My math serves me right. I could be missing one.
Okay.
But the problem is
too many is what it is, even for a week.
It's however many, too many.
Yep.
Got to be a lot more crisp and again, disciplined.
So as the Lancers will break the huddle, Smith takes the handoff, goes to McGuckin right up the gut. Going to pick up a nice first down. And what I love is that McGuckin, as he's a little slow to get up, he has really put a charge for this Lancers. And he's up a little lame. Looks like he's got a little stinger in his right shoulder. But last possession from that kickoff, he really ran hard again. And once again, he picks up a first down for St. Pius.
Yeah, that was a good, solid. I'm putting my head down, and he ran straight. There wasn't any. We've seen it. I've seen him play in the past where he would try to dip and dodge and duck and move. But you know what?
Dip, dive, dodge.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
As Smith's going to go ahead and take the snap, roll out right, design QB keeper. He spins, still on his feet. And he's going to be brought down on the play after a gain of about 5 yards, trying to see who that was for Brentwood. From my angle, it looked like number 5, and that was Nick Phillips in on the stop.
Yep. James made a nice run right there, especially after first contact. But that spin move, that ball got way out wide.
And we haven't seen a lot from Justin Lane, as we're going to have a man down, looks like cramping, and that is something that we're used to seeing here early. And Chris, we'll go ahead, we'll stay here as we move the camera on us.
Unfortunately for us,
right? Well, it's not going to break. It's insured?
Well,
no, it's not? Well,
no.
All right, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell me either. But, yeah, I got to say that I'm very impressed with the job that Coach Brooks has done. He's got his kids are playing hard. They're again, what you have to do is when you have good players and you have kids who can do things, you got to get them opportunities, and those kids are taking advantage of their opportunities.
Yep.
Ritter's he's made some great throws, and the guys he's thrown it to are making great plays. Harris has made some phenomenal plays, and number 21 Simeon Cooper has as well. And we've seen Nick Phillips make plays. And Trent Mitchell comes in and he throws a touchdown pass. I mean, and he almost had another one.
Yep, yes he did. Beautiful ball from the lefty. Now,
those lefties, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
Those lefties. It's the way the ball spins. It's different,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
It's prettier that way. No. But as Brentwood, now this is the second man that has gone down with cramps for Brentwood, and so we'll see if they're going to have to use maybe a timeout, if they're going to get him up off the field. But that's only about 14, 15 bodies that are in pads right now. So we said at the beginning of the game, is this going to be a battle of attrition between numbers? Because St. Pius, now they're playing the same amount of kids, but they do have some more on the sideline.
But they're also rotating guys in and out.
Yes.
A lot more than what Brentwood is, and it's to keep this from happening.
And to me, if I'm going to call the play, I'm going right at the guy that
just
went down. That just went down or just came out. So his sub. That's
it'd be number 8 over on the far side.
Yep. So wishbone formation, everybody up for Brentwood. That's another flubbed snap for Smith, and he's going to go down for a loss on the play. And we have seen some exchanges from the center and QB that have just not seemed to go well. I don't know who that's going to be on. Maybe it's the football, maybe it's center, but the center QB exchange has seemed to be a problem for the Lancers.
Yeah, ball security and just again, when you're under center, and you've got to get your hands on the ball, and your hands have got to be turned the right way. If your hands are sideways, the ball can drop straight to the ground. If your hands are straight up and down, that thing should go right into your hands. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't be any issue there.
So any yardage has been wiped out. It'll bring up a 3rd and 10 as the Lancers will go back to a spread look. Moss in motion. It's going to be a handoff to number 5, Daber Moss. Cuts it back up to the right side. He's going to get a good gain of about 7-8 yards. And so Coach Oliver, he's going to have to make a decision here at about 4th and 3. What type of play? And I'm telling you, Chris, I think this is the issue. This is the exact moment that you want to go to sophomore fullback Justin Lane. You haven't seen him. He hasn't carried the ball much. But if you need 3 yards in a cloud of dust, probably spread everybody out, and let's see if you can get the ball to number 23, big Justin Lane.
Well, I think he's in the backfield.
McGuckin in motion. We're going to run a rollout to the right. That's going to be caught. Nice play.
He dropped it.
And he dropped it. So, with that, Brentwood is going to dodge the bullet of St. Pius, and that will be a turnover on downs. So Brentwood will take over 1st and 10 with a minute 16 remaining with a 10-point lead, 26-16. And so now if you are Coach Brooks, you definitely want to start milking that clock. So I bet you start to see a lot of direct snaps to number 4, John Clay. But I tell you what, number 2, Trent Mitchell, he's got some wheels on him as well.
Yeah, they have some playmakers to get the ball to. The question is will these cramps set in?
Go into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And going back to that last play, I mean, when that ball hits you in the hands, the rule of thumb is, you got to come up with it.
Yep. That would be a play that maybe in the years past might be a design QB run, but instead electing to pass as number 4, Clay is in on the counter, going to pick up a nice gain of about, we'll call it 7 yards.
Yeah, and he's a big kid. He runs hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, that first cut, he made the guy miss, and he's already moving through the line and getting into the second level.
So some of the updated scores that we have: North County clinging to a 29-22 lead over Farmington. Seckman now extending their lead 36-27 over Valley. St. John, for some surprising score, up 36-19 on Festus. Herculaneum still up 28-6 over Windsor. And we'll get some of the other updates after this next play. Bunch right formation. Going to be a handoff right to Clay. And he's up the middle, and he's not even touched until the secondary. And that's going to be a great run for Brentwood that'll bring up a first down with about a gain of about 9 to 10 yards.
And they're just doing such a great job of setting the edge and getting the ball out to those playmakers. And Clay's just making great plays from his position. But I think they're going to elect to run the game clock down to start the fourth quarter. So with that, we're going to take a break, and we will be right back with more Between the Lines Friday Night Football presented by, I got it right that time, Off the Rails Media. We'll be right back, guys.
Bucks and Barnhart welcomes back the 2-pound pork steak special every Thursday. Kids eat free every Tuesday, and all-you-can-eat soup and salad every day, all day, only at Case and Bucks and Barnhart, home of over 55 appetizers. Learn more at caseandbucksbarnhart.com.
I'm the latest hashtag challenge, and everyone on social media is trying me. I'm trending so hard that hashtag common sense can't keep up.
This is gonna get tens and tens of views.
But if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, you could be left to pay for this yourself.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
I have a question about my listing price.
Updating listing to Lizard Heights.
No, listing price.
Wizard Kites.
Can I talk to a real human agent, please?
All right, everybody, welcome back to the start of the fourth quarter.
Brentwood with a 26-16 lead. And, Chris, I'm going to be honest with you, 1st and 10, I'm going to go deep. And we're going to run a nice hitch. Number 5, Nick Phillips on the play, but there is a flag.
I believe we have an offsides. So it was a free play either way.
So we'll wait on the play call, or excuse me, the infraction call by the near side official. And the way that the players are, they're going to say false start
take it back
against Brentwood. So
that's why we had players offsides, because of the false start.
So instead of a first down pitch and catch for Brentwood, they will start 1st and 15. And now you'll probably go back and do some running of the clock. Probably look to see John Clay getting the handoff. Now, I do think if they pick up another first down, if I was Brentwood, or if we get across the 50-yard line into Lancer territory, I would go ahead and go for maybe one maybe play action pass or deep ball, just because they've had some success. So bunch out to the right boundary side. That's going to be a pass. It's going to be set up a bubble screen. The
Incomplete.
Officials let it go. It looked like it should have been an incomplete. Don't know if they were waiting for the fumble or not, but they said incomplete, and that will bring up a 2nd and 15. So with that, the clock stops, which is a questionable call here for Brentwood.
He must not have been listening to the broadcast.
But I tell you what, he can, and anybody else can, is they can rewatch it on our Coaches Box YouTube channel.
By the way, if you haven't seen yet, we are giving away 2 free all-inclusive Cardinals tickets. So if you want to scan that real quick, get your phone out, scan it to. All you got to do is subscribe to your YouTube channel, enter the contest. There you go.
We take a flag on the play again. Same setup, hitch.
And it looks like that's going to be on the
offense.
offense.
Be another flag. Look to be another false start. But I'm not seeing any adjustments with this play calling. They're just running a simple slant hitch, and they're able just to do whatever they want with it, Chris.
Well, and that's the thing that all the coaches, I mean, we do have the first-hand seat to hear a lot of what the coaches are saying here for St. Pius on offense and defense. And the players got to make plays. And you got to be coached up to what you're coached to do. Mm-hmm. And right now they're just not being disciplined enough, whether that's on defense, breaking down, getting ready to make their tackles, on offense, taking care of the ball. Mm-hmm. You can't have 5 fumbles in the game, 3 giveaways, and expect to be in good shape.
Right. And Brentwood right now,
I take that back, and there was an interception, so that's 4 giveaways.
Right. And Brentwood right now, I mean, electing the pass in this fourth quarter, maybe they're thinking let's use some big playability and just put this game out of reach just right off the bat. But questionable calls as well. If it's me, like I said, I'm more conservative. I'm going to run some clock out. I'm going to go down to the play clock's under 5, run it right up the gut, run it with my bell cow number 4, John Clay, make St. Pius try and strip the ball, create some type of turnover, and then see if they can sustain a drive.
Well, That's you, though.
And that's why I'm up here calling this game. So as Brentwood, under 3 seconds to go in the play clock, gets the play off, gives the ball off to John Clay, strung out, and nice tackle by, looks like, number 56, Alex Moises.
You can definitely tell when Alex Moises makes a play. A lot of passion, a lot of energy. I love that kid. I like watching him play. He is going to play hard every single possession.
That'll bring up a 3rd and 20. So now if you're St. Pius, now you've got to be talking about these type of long passes.
Well, yeah.
Now, you
fool me once, shame on you.
Well, it's been fooled quite a bit tonight.
Twice.
So
Three
times a meanie, right? Isn't that the old Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live?
Boy, you're dating yourself.
That's fine. So back to pass, looking right over the middle. Going to be brought down by both
Davery and Moss.
And I think that's a 86 maybe?
That'd be
Yes,
Connor
86. Connor Hamilton in on the stop.
Good gang tackling right there. They swarmed the receiver and was able to corral him, but there was a little hole right there to find that pass.
And that's fine. That's what you want on 3rd and long. That'll bring up a 4th down for St. Pius. So they're going to get the ball back with presumably about 9 minutes left, and they're down 2 scores. So they're going to have to come up with a little magic here on their home field in week 1 of high school football.
We have seen them come up with some magic, though, in the past. So
yes,
and a lot of these same players played last year.
As the punt from number 5, Nick Phillips, is away, and the ball is touched. Touched by, I believe, Eli Frimmel as he was back deep, but he is able to recover it. That's fine. That is decent field position for the Lancers at about their own 30, 31-yard line with 9:14 left to go.
Yeah, and I'm watching Coach Oliver over there having a conversation with Eli after that muff punt. That thing hits the ground. You got to get away from it. You can't let that thing hit you.
Right.
And that's the rule. If you're not going to be able to get up there and make that. He was trying to call for a fair catch, but you got to let that thing go.
Exactly. As quarterback junior James Smith breaks the huddle.
Junior.
As we're going to have a give on the read option to McGuckin, still on his feet, bouncing around. Nice gain by the senior running back, and I think he was brought down on the play by number 8, Eris Harris.
I think they gave him a little bit of forward progress right there on that. But, yeah, good run. Boy, he bounced off there like a pinball hitting the bumper.
At St. Pius, as the clock goes, they're going to have to probably start to get in 4-minute or a 2-minute drive type mode here, because they're going to have to come up with a score. Then they're going to have to get a stop. And with that, another injured player. So, Chris, if you want to take it to break, or
yeah, we'll bring it up here on us real quick, and because I don't want to put it out there while we have game action or anything. But for anybody who's watching, again, I'm just going to keep saying it because we're trying to give away 2 free Cardinals tickets. They're all inclusive tickets. The game is on September 13th. It's against the Brewers, and the tickets are over at Cardinals Rooftop. They're all inclusive.
All the food.
Yeah, all the food and all the
beverages,
sodas that you can drink.
Exactly.
And
water, maybe. But why would you?
But why would you do that?
Because it's free tickets. And
that's
so
right.
Any Brentwood fans that are going to view this now,
I don't care who you are.
They're awful close. I mean, they're
sure.
up. They're already up in the city limits. They're up at the city.
It doesn't cost you anything to enter the contest. You just scan the code. You put your name and email and a phone number, so if you do win, we can get a hold of you. The drawing is on September 7th, and the one thing you have to do in order to be eligible is to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
But, Chris, does it cost anything?
It doesn't cost you a darn dime.
It's free, in other words.
Absolutely free for free. So if you enjoy Cardinals baseball, you know what? You should enter. And then if you subscribe to our YouTube channel when you do that, as you go through the entry process, that gives you 5 entries. If you subscribe to our Apple Podcast, which is also free, that gets you 3 entries. You can follow us on Twitter. That's also free for people who knows how to do Twitter. Zach, I don't know if you do.
I do not.
So that gives you 2 entries, but that gives you an assortment of entries. And then guess what? Your significant other can do that as well. No, we can't win. So make sure you do that. If you're interested in getting you some Cardinals tickets, So,
and I think we just had a fan come up and ask about it. So after the ball game, Chris, you'll have to talk to him about, hey, did they enter in and all the variety of ways that they can that you just told all the viewers. So after the injury timeout, and once again, it looks like cramps.
Yep, cramps are going to be something we might see a couple more times before this game's over.
St. Pius will break the huddle as the game clock continues to roll down at about 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Smith in the spread. Takes the snap, going to go back to pass. Instead, it's going to be a design QB run. Nice play call. Still on his feet. It's going to be fumbled again. Ball security, but the Lancers are going to retain possession, and it'll bring up a 3rd and short situation for St. Pius.
Too much butter on the popcorn before the game.
Yep, exactly. I believe that was number 1, McGuckin, that was able to retain possession for St. Pius.
And I'm going to venture a guess to say that what's going to be focused on at practice is ball security.
Yep. So as they go to Wishbone, it's going to be a handoff off to number 5, Dabrian Moss. And he's going to pick up the first down. And Chris, I'm going to say this, we just don't see any hard-nosed running that I thought that we were going to see. Now, McGuckin has done an excellent job, but Dabrian, his pad level's up. He's trying to tiptoe instead of put your nose down. We got guys on Brentwood that are obviously they're a little dehydrated. Go after him, and we still haven't seen Justin Lane carry the ball as we have a QB read option keeper, and that's going to be stuffed in the backfield.
Yeah, and I think some smash mouth football. I mean, talk about making adjustments and building off of every single game. That might be something that gets featured a little bit more moving forward when they go back and look at the film the coaches do and see what adjustments they can make.
And so as the clock's going to wind down under 7 minutes, if you're Coach Oliver and St. Pius, you've got to score twice here. So not that you want to get in frantic mode, but you're going to have to start chewing up some field real quick as we have a dropped pass intended for number 1, McGuckin, and it's just something that we continue to see dropped balls. I don't know. Maybe they need to put some talcum powder or something on the ball, rub up get some Mississippi mud that maybe Major League Baseball uses. They got to do something to take that slickness out of that football.
Yeah, and, even right there, you can see Smith was flushed out. I mean, I know it was a design rollout, but he was under pressure.
Brentwood doing a good job here on defense, bringing up 3rd and 10. Dabrian Moss going to go in motion, run a flood route. Nobody's open. And James Smith is going to have to keep it. That will stop the clock as he goes out of bounds, and that'll bring up a 4th down for the Lancers. That's going to be 4th and a long 7, and right now this is going to probably be the play of the game.
Yeah, this is a big play right now for the Lancers. You can see Coach Oliver's out there kind of talking to James Smith, trying to make sure everybody's on the same page right here as he gives the play to the rest of the team.
So I'm curious to see what type of action they go with. They've been running some flood routes. Now you have a slant right here that's going to be wide open on the right side, and that's exactly what they run. Instead, they're going to run to the left-hand side, pass intended for McGuckin. They had number 4 on the play, Matt Mariani, who's been sure-handed tonight, wide open on a slant. And with that, we have an official's timeout for water, and Brentwood now in the driver's seat with 6:45 remaining, 26-16. Chris, let's take a break here.
Yeah, and we come back. We'll present more Between the Lines Friday Night Football. We'll be right back, guys.
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636 337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Hi, I'm Brant Tarkenton, Hall of Fame quarterback and founder of Tarkenton Financial. And this is my good friend and partner, Brian Waits, founder of Waits Financial Services.
Thanks, Fran. At Waits Financial Services, we believe in educating our clients, providing courteous service, and helping every person we work with create a winning game plan for their retirement.
Retirement is a lot like football. You need a solid game plan and great teammates in order to achieve success. That's why I started Tarkenton Financial, to help educate people about their choices and connect them with advisors I trust.
So we are back here out of the break, and we have a direct snap to number 21. That is Simeon Cooper, and he is brought down in the backfield. And right now, if you're Coach Oliver, you're going to have to start thinking about when and where you're going to use your timeouts, because you're down 2 scores. And you know Brentwood, they're just going to let, right now, probably go to some direct QB snaps, stay inbounds, run some clock down. So while we're waiting on that, some updated scores. Sullivan over Northwest right now, 22-0. Potosi over St. Clair, 21-7. Oakville up big, 48-0 over Perryville. Central up big, 21-0 over Poplar Bluff. As we have a pistol formation, going to be a handoff right to number 4. That's John Clay, and he's going to stumble his way and rumble and bumble and stumble his way for a nice gain that'll bring up a 3rd and about, we'll call it 3 for Brentwood.
Yeah, good tackle right there by Matt Mariani. He's kind of coming up. I think he might have hurt his finger a little bit. For a kid who has some sure hands, that's not always a good thing.
So either no score or no score reporter for Fox and Melville. DeSoto up big, 42-12 over DeBerg. Crystal City going to probably pick up their first one of the year with a 43-0 score over Chaffee. Hillsboro 49-7 over Sykeston, as Ritter going to take the snap, and we're going to have a false start for Brentwood. But two guys here. Alex Moises looks like he's going to have to get his emotions in check here, but we're going to have one official is going to say encroachment, another one's going to be talking about potential false start. We'll see how all of that gets worked out here, as Fredericktown is still up 6-3 on Jefferson. Herculaneum opening up big, 42-6 over Windsor. St. John up 36-19, and with that, they are going to say that Brentwood false start with their infraction. So that'll bring, and the Brentwood faithful here did not like that call, as you hear the boos, but it'll bring up a 3rd and long now. As
I think that one could have went either way.
It could have. And this one, or this
block
time,
charge.
Block charge. We're not going to talk about that. As the clock's going to continue to roll here, under 5 minutes left to play. St. Genevieve and Festus may be a surprise score for the area. St. Gen up 36-19. Talk about a game of the week. Seckman holding a 36-33 lead over Valley Catholic.
That's interesting.
As Ritter is waiting, and now they're going to take, Brentwood is going to take a timeout. So with 4:41 remaining in this ball game, Brentwood clinging to a 26-16 lead. Chris, are we going to take us out, or are we going to stay here?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take it out. So we'll be right back with
Between the
Lines, Off the Rails Media. I'm butchering that all night. It is terrible, isn't it?
That's all right.
That's all right. It's Friday Night Football. It's week 1. We're working out the kinks. We'll be right back.
You aren't looking for a cookie cutter experience with your agent. You are looking for someone who is going to go above and beyond, or think outside the box. You are looking for someone who is going to be there for you no matter what, and someone who is going to walk you through the entire process. My name is Kelly Kaufman with Gateway Real Estate, and my passion is the people I work with. Real estate is personal. A home is not just the four walls, it's the people who live there and the memories you share. That's why I focus on the people I serve and make them a top priority throughout the entire process. I'm there for you. No matter what your budget is, no matter where you are, and no matter how long it takes, I will be there with you every step of the way. If you are looking for an agent who cares about you and will do everything to make sure you are taken care of, give me a call, 314-221-6090.
All right. So we are back here as Brentwood electing to go for a pass, and number 7, Ritter, flushed out of the pocket, and man, he is hit hard on the play, but after a nice gain.
He's still down.
Still down. I mean, he definitely hit his head. And that'll bring up a 4th and 4. So, Chris, you can put it on us, and we'll stay here.
Yep, it's on us. I'm glad you got to sit down now. I gave you my seat.
Well, thanks. I mean, that's what we do. you had the first half.
But now there's only like
half.
this much of your head showing.
That's all they need to see. That's all that matters.
That's all right.
So while they're doing that, other scores that we continue to see: North County scoring again, up 36-22 over Farmington. Seckman up 36-33, and really those are all some of the updated scores, or at least that's throughout the listening area. We have a couple other teams trying to report some scores here, and there is a final. So we do have a final. Crystal City is going to pick up their first win of the year, 43-0 over Chaffee. Herculaneum, I'm going to assume the way that they posted that their ball game's over, 42-6 victory over Windsor. Hillsboro, that score is final, 49-14 over Sykeston.
I just love being up here at this booth. Somebody just handed me a chair to sit down.
Ask and you shall receive,
right?
I
don't need one. I'm good. I'm not like Coach McVey. I don't need a break.
Because he had the chair the first half. He doesn't. He should be good. But with that, so updated with about 7 minutes left to go in the ball game, Valley is actually winning. So 39-36. So maybe some scores have been flip-flopped here there. So Chris, what were you?
So if you're enjoying the broadcast, you can tune in to our show, the Coach's Box, one of our off the rails media shows, and we have episodes weekly. It's basically just 4 guys. We just talk about whatever we really want to. It could be sports. It could be just life stuff.
There's nothing going on in the news right now, is there?
There's nothing. We like to laugh and have a good time, and we really enjoy the people who interact. And if you're interested in that, I mean, obviously subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go back and look at all of our old episodes there. They're all archived. And we're usually probably about Wednesday or Thursday night, depending on our schedule. We have 4 coaches from Jefferson County here, and me and Zach both participate in this debacle of a show.
A debacle of a show that's been going on over 2 years.
Yeah, we've had quite a good run so far. Hopefully that continues on. But
also got another show with Jim Powers.
Yeah, our Friday football preview show, On the Move with the Caravan. But we'll go ahead and jump back to the action
as number 2 Trent Mitchell is in at QB. So once again, we're spread 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Probably looking at maybe a QB keeper right up the gut as the play clock's continuing to run down. So they'll get that snap under 4 as it's going to be a QB keeper to the left side. Going to be brought down out of bounds. And if you're St. Pius, that's what you have to have. But looks like it's going to be good enough. Depending on the spot.
First down.
They are going to call a first down. But Mitchell went out of bounds, so the play will stop. And you're going to have to start using your timeouts at some point. You're going to have to get a stop and then call a timeout.
Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do. And especially at this point in the game and being under 4 minutes, it's tough. You got to make plays. You got to get stops and look for Brentwood to continue to try to punish the ball Especially attacking the edges, because they've done a really good job of getting the ball outside and in space.
And we're going to have an obvious false start as there are about 4 or 5 flags.
I don't think they got the right snap count in the huddle.
So
did you say on 2?
On 2, yep. Silent count. No, but as Brentwood will be moved back 4 yards, we do have another final. Fredericktown over Jefferson 6-3. 6-3. You talk about a defensive ball game.
That's a lot of scoring right there. Mm-hmm. If it was soccer, which
soccer.
I don't like, and I don't care if anybody doesn't like that either.
Oh goodness! We try to make fans and friends at
That's great.
Media.
I have a lot of respect for kids who play, but I don't like it.
So we have a John Clay run's going to be stopped in the backfield for tackle for a loss of about 3 on the play as the clock continues to wind down.
Got to wonder when Coach Oliver is going to start using those timeouts.
Yep. So that'll bring up 2nd down on the marker, 3rd down on the scoreboard.
Play clock continues to run as well as the game clock.
So now it's under 8, so Brentwood's going to have to hurry up here, otherwise maybe take a timeout, and that looks like what Coach Brooks is going to do. Instead, he doesn't. It's going to be a direct snap to John Clay, and they're going to keep him in bounds. Clay on the direct snap. Moises and Smith in on the stop for the Lancers. Bring up a 3rd down.
Clock still running.
And if you're Coach Brooks and Brentwood, you are perfectly fine as the clock continues to run. You're going to be able to work it down another 25-plus seconds and get the playoff. You might be close to the next down being under 2 minutes.
We'll see if the Lancer defense can get a big stop right here and maybe a takeaway.
So we're going to have another direct snap to Clay. To the right side, strung out. Going to be a nice shoestring tackle by number 11. That is Chase Watercutty. First time we called his name. And so now we have a timeout with 2 minutes and 8 seconds from St. Pius.
Yep, trying to get the clock stopped so they can get the ball back, probably most likely after a punt.
And we do have one of our fans here that happened to make a comment on what Coach Chris Miller says, and I believe the quote is 6-3 is high scoring for soccer.
I said it was. I'm glad people are actually watching and listening. That's good. I know which fan that is probably too. I'm sure I got a text message somewhere.
We won't say with what emojis that are attached to the text message, but
I'm sure it's telling me I'm number 1.
So now let me ask you this, Chris. If you are Coach Brooks and Brentwood, you are 4th and forever. Do you go ahead and punt? Do you go ahead and say, hey, maybe let's try and throw it? Or what do? You run it. If it's me, we're up 2 scores. I'm going to go ahead and kick it out of bounds. I'm not going to give St. Pius any chance whatsoever of trying to return this punt. And I'm going to try and see if I can kick it inside the 20 and let it try and maybe do a coffin corner here and say, hey, you know what? You're going to have about 2 minutes left. See if you can score twice.
I'm going to punt the ball.
Yep.
And that's what they're going to do.
That is exactly. Now, I say that because earlier in the game they had a botched snap as it this time goes right. But this is what we said. It is going to be, we're going to say there was, as you can hear St. Pius coaching staff saying, get away from the ball. So with exactly 2 minutes, a poor punt by Brentwood is going to give great field position for the Lancers. And, Coach, they've got some work that they're going to have to do here.
Yeah, they ain't got a lot of time. Now you definitely have a 2 minute drill to make up on a 2-score game here.
Yep, so you're going to have to score as quickly as possible. You still have some timeouts in your pocket. Then, hopefully, you've worked on some onside kicks this season, and then hopefully retain possession, as we're going to get a handoff to McGuckin, and that's going to be a couple yard gain, and then number 1 McGuckin and number 5 for Brentwood, a little extracurricular activity.
Yeah,
and while
that's not the time to do that.
And while that's happening, the clock is going to continue to roll. That's not what you want to have if you are Coach Oliver and Lancers. So a timeout's going to be called by St. Pius to try and set up their 2-minute drill. So with a $1:42 remaining in this ball game,
they might put a little bit more time back on the clock too, because after the tackle, Coach Oliver was calling the timeout, and one of the officials signaled it. So we'll see if they put any more time back on the clock.
Okay. Yep, they did. It is now a minute 53 seconds left in the game.
And every second is very precious at this point if you're a St. Pius Lancer player, fan, or coach.
Mm-hmm. And Chris, I'll be honest with you, if I'm Brentwood, I'm going to run a prevent defense. I'm going to put 4 back. St. Pius is going to have the ball at about their own 46-yard line. I'm going to be perfectly comfortable with putting guys at about my own 30. 3 guys, maybe even 4 guys. I'm going to be happy with trying to get any pressure that we've had all game just from our front 3 or our front 4. And I'm going to say, hey, I've got better athletes than you, and I'm going to go make a play on a ball.
Absolutely. But it looks like they're just content playing their regular defense.
Right. So I still think you have a wide-open slant opportunity here at the near side for Connor Hamilton. As now we have McGuckin going in motion. We're going to have a triple option. James Smith takes the pitch out to McGuckin. McGuckin's going to bobble it, and it is going to take a bounce right in the hands of number 3 for Brentwood. That is Robert Hamilton, and that all but seals the deal for Brentwood. And Chris, that is just 7 turnovers now?
No, 7 fumbles.
7 fumbles. Okay,
7 fumbles.
And probably 3 to 4 turnovers.
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Could you keep track of that? Maybe it's not like you don't have anything else to do, right?
No, just paying attention to everything not working. Yeah.
So that all but wraps it up with, like we said, $1:46 left to go in the game, and so. As Brentwood will obviously be content to run this game out. Brentwood, now they had some miscues of their own, but Coach Brooks and company, they're going to say, hey, we said at the beginning of the game, this was district implications. So now Brentwood's going to be in the driver's seat right now for after week 1, picking up some points and setting themselves probably in the top 4 seeds of their district. Crystal City being in that district, they picked up a big win tonight, so they'll move up in the standings. As we have another flag on the field,
it's encroachment.
Encroachment again on the Lancers.
So just sloppy play right now. That's kind of been the story of the game. Not taking care of the ball.
Well, we said discipline. We said at the show, our pigskin preview, that with Nate Rubel being the leader of that team last year, Colin Smith leading, and both of those guys off to college with graduation, who's going to step up and be some leaders for St. Pius? And Chris, I'll be honest with you, we've had some hard running by Austin McGuckin throughout the game, and some plays by Alex Moises, as he's going to be one of the first guys in on the stop here for the Lancers. But other than that, we haven't really seen any type of, hey, give me the ball, I'm going to make a play.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, when you have one group graduating, you're looking for somebody else to step up and lead.
Now, for Brentwood, they have everybody back.
Yeah.
And so for Coach Brooks, he was going to lean heavy on all of his guys. You've got John Clay, he's a senior running back. You've got Ethan Ritter, he's only a junior quarterback. Simeon Cooper, he's a senior do-it-all skill guy. Nick Phillips, he's a senior wide receiver and secondary. So they've got a lot of experience coming back, as Brentwood is going to go ahead and take the victory formation and QB kneel. captain also, Louis McGee. He's a senior offensive defensive lineman. Number 65, J.D. Allen, another senior offensive defensive lineman. So a lot of players for Brentwood, and they are going to wind down this clock. And we will have, as there are 33 seconds left to go in this game, a final of 26-16. So Coach Brooks and Brentwood going to start the year off 1-0. Coach Oliver and the Lancers, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out all the different things that they need to correct.
Right, and I mean, and it's going to be very obvious on film with a lot of it because we seen it. Just you got to take care of the football. You can't turn the ball over that many times. There was plenty of opportunities for St. Pius to be in a position to win this game had they taken care of the ball. And a couple of adjustments here or there and you know, some good practices, and they'll be right back for a bounce back. But Brentwood looks like they're going to have a nice little team here, and it should be interesting to see how things would go moving forward.
So we'll talk about some of the scoring plays for both Brentwood and St. Pius. Starting off the game was a 4-yard touchdown rush by John Clay. After that, Dabrian Moss for St. Pius, he had a 1-yard touchdown rush. Then it went back to Brentwood. They scored on a 22-yard pass from Ritter to Simeon. And then before halftime, you had a 34-yard touchdown pass from Trent Mitchell to Eris Harris. And then in the second half, you had a 7-yard touchdown run by John Clay. And then you had a 36-yard touchdown run by quarterback James Smith on a nice read option. And that is how we arrived at our final, 26-16.
Well, Zach? You know, I mean, I think we've had, outside of a few technical difficulties, I think we've had a pretty good little broadcast here.
Yeah, it was fun. It's always fun to be able to do this, and what we try and do, and Chris, we've said this for the years that we've been bringing our show and then the broadcast, is that we're trying after COVID, you know, it's an opportunity for people that want to make the decision to stay home or they can't get out, but with all of the advent of technology, whether it's on their phones or their computers, it brings them the chance to maybe watch a relative that is out of state, or, hey, you know what, it's grandpa or grandma that just they don't want to sit in the stands. You know, they don't want to take the 2.5, 3 hours of sitting on some bleachers. So this is why we do the things that we do. And Chris, we've said and continue to say that with Off the Rails Media, with all of the different products that we bring, whether it's our show, The Coach's Box, whether it's going to be Between the Lines, or whether it's going to be the High School Caravan with Jim Powers. Yes, that Jim Powers, that is on Fox 2 Friday nights. That is something that we're excited about bringing to anybody and everybody on all of our platforms. We're going to make sure that what we do will always be free. We're not going to put anything behind a paywall because we don't think with high school athletes they deserve all of the recognition. They deserve, you know, it might come down to us having a stream and maybe a kid gets a scholarship because a coach in another state just happens to hear about this kid and they can watch it. Now, obviously, you've got huddle film and all of that, but you never know. And so we want to provide those opportunities for not only the players, but also for different schools, different programs throughout the area. So if you like what we do, or at least what we're trying to do with Week 1, let us know. Give us a comment, drop us a line. If there's maybe a school in the area that you're like, hey, we don't have a broadcast, we don't have a live stream or something like that that we're not a part of, give us a call and maybe we can set something up just to broadcast a game here or there for you. And it doesn't have to be football. It could be basketball, baseball, anything, any team sport. Now, Chris will say not soccer, but hey, you know what? You never know. I've learned long ago you never say, you never know. But we have a lot of fun with what we do, and we try to bring some laughs here and there. And Chris, I'm so appreciative to be able to do this and work with all of our buddies. And so, you know, for me, I'll send it back over to you as we end our broadcast tonight of Week 1 Between the Lines Friday Night Football edition. The Brentwood visiting Eagles with a 26-16 win over host school St. Pius X Lancers. So, Chris, take it away.
Before we wrap up, Zach, just real quick, I can't say this enough. If you're interested entering to win 2 free all-inclusive Cardinals tickets to see the Cardinals take on the Brewers from the Cardinals rooftop over in Ballpark Village. By the way, they don't stop serving at the 7th inning.
Nope.
After 7th inning over there.
Nope.
You can keep going.
Right.
With all of your soda.
I was going to say, I'm going to drink soda, so I can drink as long as I want.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, me too. And the drawing is September 7th. You can enter by scanning the code. If you want to go and look at some of our Facebook pages, we do have some links where you can click on the link. But if you check it out, we ask that to be eligible, you have to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That'll get you entries. You can subscribe to our Apple Podcast. That'll get you entries. You can follow us on Twitter. That'll get you entries. And Zach, before we take off, how much does that cost to do that?
Hold on. I need to check my calculator. I'm not very good at math. Oh, wait. It's free.
It's free.
It's free.
And as Zach said, we do have several shows that we have weekly. One of them is one of our new shows, On the Move with the Caravan, football preview with Jim Powers, who runs High School Sports Caravan and is on Fox 2. He'll be on Fox 2 later on tonight. You can catch him there. And we'll be talking next Thursday about the Week 2 matchups that he's spotlighting in the St. Louis City, County, and Jefferson County areas. And as well, we also have our show that we normally do, the Coach's Box, the OG that started it all. And those episodes run weekly. You can see them on our YouTube page that you guys are watching this on. And you can see all of our old episodes, and you can tune in for new ones. So for Zach and myself, I appreciate you guys dealing with what we've dealt with tonight, and so glad that you guys have been a part of this. This has been Between the Lines, Friday Night Football, presented by Off the Rails Media. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless.